Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? It's Monday, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. June 12th, 2023. Here we are again on this drab, rainy, crappy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend, and I hope you're all ready for ready to jump back into the norm and jump into the grindstone one more time. Sorry, guys, lost my words there. University of Idaho, we're going to be looking at the vehicle, the white ELANTRA that I've been irritated with the whole time, and some other things I want to talk about and review with you guys today. I want your opinions once again. Mama Bear will be joining us, she says, as may Miss Jules. Hopefully. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you all are well rested and ready for all the exciting new stuff that we're going to be talking about today. See you soon, guys. Let's get this show on the road, as I always say. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday to ya. Good to see you. Glad to be here. Hope you're all having a great start to your day. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend, as always. And here we are once again. Welcome back. Mama Bear says she's about to be joining us here as soon as she can. Jules is in chat. She said she may jump up here as well. Welcome back, everybody. It's great to see you all. As you see in the title, of course, the University of Idaho. We're going to be talking about this car, and some of you guys saw me the other day, yesterday, actually. I'm sorry. Truth and Transparency. Lana had a live stream. I jumped up on her panel just for a minute to talk about a couple things, and it's quite interesting what she was talking about with this car. We're going to review that a little bit too, because I've always had issues with this car. and some other things as well. So let's get that ball rolling. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I think I may have done something wrong. Hold on a second. I think I may have given Mama Bear the wrong link. Anyway, there's the link in chat whenever you're ready, Mama Bear. Uh, let's see who we have in the house with us today. So let's see. Sergeant Friday, just a facts man. What is up, my brother? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Crystal, welcome, welcome. No change, no more. Great to have you. Carolyn, welcome back, dear. Miss Bonnie Bailey, P. Fox, great to see you. Doc Terry, welcome back. And great to see you. Wisdom Speaks, Miss Sherry's in the house. Always a pleasure. Mrs. M, always happy to see you here, darling. Thanks for joining us. Pappy Man, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Leah Story, welcome. Great to have you here. Tracy, same with you. Always happy to see you. CL, welcome back. Great to have you here. Dorian Constante, good to see you. And Mr. Dan Antonucci, welcome, my brother. Haircut and orange shirt. Hey. You noticed it all, bro. Got to wear orange to rep the Browns. Go Browns, go Browns. May not be football season, but I can hope, right? Let's see here. Fallen Angel, welcome back. Good to see you. My sister, Miss Heather Lauer, good to see you. Hope you're having a great day, sis. Miss Kim Marin, welcome again. Good to see you. Rumsey, welcome back. Lynn69, great to see you. Let me see. No chains. Always happy to see you. If I repeat your name, guys, my apologies. And if I miss it, I'm not doing it on purpose. Andrew Bogner, great to see you. Welcome back, brother. Mandy Joe, hey. What's up? The newest member of our moderator staff. Good to have you here, Mandy. Happy to see you. Wait a minute. What is that? I'm getting a transmission, folks. Who's this?
Hi.
Boom! It's the Mama Bear. Welcome. Good to see you, Mama Bear.
You too.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
That was kind of corny. I'm a cornball. I swear to God, you guys. I say dumb things sometimes. It is what it is. It's what happens when you become a grandfather, I think. Miss Heather, the lovely Miss Heather. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Casey, welcome back. Good to see you. Michigan, welcome back. As always, happy to see you. Firefly, welcome. Chrissy C, that's a new name. Good to see you. Pixie T, great to see you again. Welcome. Randy Fur, welcome back, brother. Back. And there she is. Jules of all trades. Welcome, Jules. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. The Do's are due. Good to see you. Jamie Rosberg, another new name. Great to see you. Chrissy C. I think I got just about everybody. Let me see. Takes a minute, guys. Shattered Dimensions, welcome, bro. Good to see you. Just saying what? Because I ain't said nothing yet, but I'm going to. I promise you that.
Don't you
Jen,
always?
Don't I always? I always do. Jen, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Can you imagine a live stream without me talking?
That'd be pretty quiet.
It would be really weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I've had one of those.
Oh, yeah, you have. It was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really weird. I was like, what do I do?
Right. Astrid Parker, good to see you. Salty, welcome back. Always happy to see you. Miss Natalie B, welcome. Good to see you today. Thanks for joining us. Canadian True Crime Buff, welcome. Good to see you. I hope you're surviving up there in Canada. Crazy wildfires going down, I think. Evie Marie, great to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us. I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, let me know. Smack me around. I told you guys, you got to shake me up a little bit here and there. July Nights, welcome. You were here early. Good to see you. I think that did it. All right. Let's check the bottom. Drew Younger, welcome. Another new name. Great to see you. Donna Jess, J Jess, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. There's V Slims. Welcome. Good to see you. Maryland's Missing and Murdered. Welcome. Good to have you here. And I think I did get everyone. Mouth of the South. I know you're not talking about me, little sister. Sophie's in the house. Thank you, Sophie. Alice in Wonderland. That's a great name. I love that one. And Mr. Lance, my brother. Good to see you. I told you if I didn't see you, smack me around a little bit. You came in after the fact, buddy. Cece's in the house. The sweetest lady on the internet. Thank you so much for joining us, Cece. Jennifer S., it's great to see you as well. That would have been Mr. David James, Jennifer. He put out, I don't know how many at this point, memberships. So for those of you that are shocked that you have a membership, that would be why. David James put them out for just about everybody, guys. Welcome back, Fupa. Good to see you. Jules Merck in the house. Good to see you. And Nina B, great to see you as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's like the gang's all here, guys. We got 177 amazing people in the house. And we got 55 likes. We got to make it match, folks. We got to make it match. That way we can get out there in that algorithm and do what we got to do. And that's what we do, is what we do. We do. SRB, good afternoon to you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night to all of you. I hope it's good for you because it's good for me to be here with you all. I missed you guys yesterday. I had to take a bit of a day off. My wife forced me, but I needed to do that. Good for her. I needed to take a day off, folks. I did. I really did. David James, my brother from down under. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for jumping in. Appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. On the other side of the planet there. I think I did get everybody now that I'm looking. All right. Jameson, another new name. Welcome. Good to see you. For all you guys that are new in here, up and there he is. Let's do this. Mr. Eddie is in the house, everybody. One maiden nut. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us, Eddie. Kimmy Q, always happy to see you. I got to say that slowly, folks. I have to control the ADHD when I say people's names because I say things that I shouldn't say. B Slim says, yes, I missed you too so very much. Happy Monday to you as well. We missed you too. Mama Bear misses you guys, I think, more than I do because she don't hardly ever get to see you guys anymore because she's so busy working. Got to do that thing. Got to do that. Yep. Sudi Basic, welcome. Good to see you. Miss Jennifer, where'd it go? Jennifer S. says, hi to all I have not said hi to yet. Great to see you guys here. By the way, I appreciate you guys. I seen all you guys that were over in Truth and Transparency yesterday. I appreciate all the support you guys gave me just for going up there to say something. Thank you guys so much for that. That feels really good to hear that. I appreciate you guys so very much. Cowboy, what's up? Let's go. Kels is in the house. Good to see you.
Hi, Miss Molly. Hey, Heather.
Molly, is she here? She's here. There she is. Good golly, Miss Molly's in the house. That is the one right there, you guys. You can thank for that amazing intro we have now. Did you get to watch it this time? You didn't see it. You didn't see it. I can tell by the look on her face. She didn't see it, you guys.
Sorry, I was talking to Matt about something.
Always distracted. Who's got the ADHD here? Me or her? See? Told you.
Because you had really bad static, so I was talking to Matt about. Yeah, and I was going to actually ask the chat if they can hear it as well.
Can you still hear it?
I can.
Does anybody else hear this static? I don't know why that's happening. I'm getting ready to change the system up anyway and put this new stuff in.
He said that it sounded like to him that your mic was too high, that it was clipping.
Too high, like turned up too high?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I'm putting this new thing together. And I can control the volume on the mic now. Everybody's saying no static.
That is weird.
It's you. You have static on the brain. I'm just kidding. It probably was in the beginning. Maybe that, or I don't know. Was it coming through when the intro was running?
I only hear it when you talk.
Oh. Sophie says it's perfect now. No static. It's perfect. I don't know then. Like I said, once I change this out, because I'm going to run through this new thing I have. That way we can run phone calls. Okay. and they don't do that whole static breakdown thing that we were getting every time the phone would ring or be close to it.
Right.
And do all that stuff and get it. I just haven't had any time. I probably did have time yesterday, but I was being lazy and
good.
I didn't want to touch my computer yesterday, even though I couldn't help myself. I was watching Lana's stream, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. She dropped the link, and I was like, boom, there it is. And I was, as soon as I clicked it, I was in there. I was like, wow, okay. So,
and then my wife, it's my electric personality.
There it is. See? That's exactly what it is. So then my wife Brady comes walking through the room as I'm sitting at my computer, like somebody that got caught with their hand caught in the cookie jar. I turn and look to the left, and she's just standing there staring at me. And I went, I'm only here for a second. I promise. She stood there and watched me the whole time until I got off. So she's like, 7 days a week, Joe. It's 7 days a week. I said, okay, I get it. Okay. I can't help it.
Yeah.
So, Miss Jules, what did you say here? Oh, where'd it go? Oh, are you gonna play where you went on? Oh, I know you mentioned it earlier. I don't know if I'm gonna play that part of it or not. I'm just gonna talk about the car that she was talking about. I'm not putting my thing up there. I don't need to do that. I said what I had to say that way. Most of you guys saw it, so I don't need to. What's up, Mr. Duke Landry? Good to see you. But yeah, and then I got something else. I saw something that was referred to me early this morning, actually. It was kind of interesting. I want to review with you guys. Never seen or heard of it before. And it was really interesting, actually. Parts of it were, not all of it, most of it. No, we didn't get to talk about that too much, Jules. But I do want to talk about it because it's something that I had brought to your guys' attention a while back. We did a whole thing on the car for a while. And I said, I don't think that's what that car is. I don't think that's what that car is. I don't think that's what that car is. And guess what? Well, they think that's what that car is, but I don't. So we're going to talk about it a little bit. And I got to give props to Lana. I mean, I mentioned looking at a Tesla because my neighbor has one and I look at it every day and I'm like, damn, that looks like the car. It really looks like the car. Whatever. And, I'm not saying that was a fact, but yes, I do, Miss Molly. I remember word for word what you said. It's embedded in my brain. This is what my mods do. They make sure that they lock me down a little bit and make sure that I'm not going insane with certain things. So she had to make sure. And I did remember, dear. It's actually written down on a Post-it sitting in front of me to remember that one comment. So, and I'm using Post-its. I have them all here. Mama Brandy or Mama Dago. No, Mrs. Dago. I don't remember whose name is who. Anyway, brought me more home. So I have them sitting here. It is a huge problem because here's the thing. I've been thinking about this car thing. And after Lana put that one up, I was looking at it and I'm thinking like, how about this? They got us like embedded into this stupid white Elantra that we know that there's 3 million of them out there now. I see them everywhere that I look now. I never did in my life did I ever see a white Elantra anywhere in the world, folks, until this case happened. And now I see them every time I turn the corner, so, or at least something that looks like it. But it was making me wonder, like, we're all in this car. It's all about this car. And if they come out and find nothing in this car, what if it wasn't this car? Okay. That would be a big issue. It is a big issue as far as I'm concerned. So that's my big problem with this. And we're going to look into it a little bit. The CCTV car. Yes. It never looked like an Elantra to me. To me, it always looked like a vehicle with a hatchback, in a sense, a smaller vehicle than what an Elantra is. Well,
yeah, it kind of looks like my little Kia Sorento.
My wife said it looked like a Prius. Well, guess what Lana showed yesterday? A Prius. I said, well, okay. There it is. There it is. And I was like, damn, okay. So welcome, Yvette. Good to see you. So we're going to talk about that and another channel that I want to review a little bit that had some things in it that made some sense. I want to show you guys, for those of you that may not have seen it. I know a couple of you at least have seen it for sure. And we're going to talk about that too. So again, I hope you guys are refreshed and ready and all that. I do have some questions before we get into the biz side of everything. First of all, again, it's great to be back with you guys. I missed you guys yesterday. We always miss Mama Bear because we don't see her hardly ever anymore.
I know.
Yes, that's true. Heather,
tonight. Yeah, but she's also made me a manager, so.
Oh, Lord, guess what? So we probably never will see her again.
Yeah,
she's gone. Right. She's off to the world of working.
Nah.
Thank you so much, Leah. We love you too so very much. Duke says cars are evidence magnets, fingerprints, hair, DNA samples. Amen to that one, Duke. And I have a feeling that we're gonna have a big issue with this one. Right, Sarge. The plane. Don't forget, guys, tonight, for those of you that are interested, yeah, for those of you guys that are interesting, for those of you that are boring, you're not included in this. Anyway, for those of you that are interested, tonight we are covering the true and disturbing history of the West Virginia State Penitentiary, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to take a little bit of a slide to the left or to the right. I'm going opposite sides so you guys see it that way. Instead of the typical what we do on Monday and Thursday nights, we're going to jump into this here. It's quite a bit more interesting in some senses. I spent the night at this prison myself, my wife and I. We spent 9, 10, 11 hours, I think it was, total in this prison, and of course researched all the history and everything in it. So it should be fun if you guys are interested. That's tonight. You're not interesting, you're out. Yeah, right, Eddie. You are absolutely the most interesting in here, guy. You always have something insightful to say. So, but that's what we're doing tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for you. For those of you, again, that are interested, jump in there tonight. Check it out. And then something else I wanted to discuss with you. I have been approached by somebody that wants me to, well, I've been asked by multiple people via DMs, emails, phone calls, text messages, if I have any merchandise for you guys. And I do not yet. What I'm asking is if anybody in here would want it before I go that way. Okay. I have some things that I'm going to get 2 things made. I have one thing made already, and it's a cup like this. Okay. That has my, logo on it. And she's working on doing a t-shirt too, just to see how they look.
Cool.
And I'm not going to push anything or put anything out or make anything more than that if nobody's going to want it. Okay. And I'm not trying to sell it to you guys. I'm just thinking, is it worth making? And if anybody is interested in buying this stuff, then yes, I will have her make a few things, get things moving a little bit on it, and get that side of this set up. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a poll real quick, because we love polls in here. Just saying. Yeah, here we go. Yes, we love polls.
Molly wants a Dago bobblehead.
A Dago bobblehead. How does that work? I can do this all day. Will you pay for this, Molly? I'll do this all day. Anyway, I want a Jules Jules has great merch over there, guys. Go check it out. For those of you that haven't, please do. Most of you guys that are subbed to her channel, she's got a setting in there where you can go check it out. She's got some really cool stuff in there. So please go check her stuff out already.
FBI forever bothering Italians. That's cute, Jennifer.
Okay, so really I'm doing a very simple poll, and it says merchandise. Do you want it or do you not want it? So vote. If you would, all of you, please vote. And if, based on what the vote says, if it's something good, then I'm going to do, I have the ability to do t-shirts, probably hoodies, I believe she said, hats, cups. She's not doing like ceramic coffee cups or anything yet. We're working on talking about, again, depends on what everybody wants, decals, stuff like that. So we'll see. And at some point, I do have somebody else I still can't believe this. It's working on doing plushies. Okay. And what I mean by plushies, because somebody a long time ago said they wanted a plushie Dago doll of me. And I'm thinking, like,
that was Molly, wasn't it?
Well, there was other people that said it too. It's a little creepy to me, but whatever. If you guys want to have a little plushie to sleep with every night that looks like me, then so be it. You know, it's going to be the meatball thing, guys, is what we're working on at this point. The girl that I have that wants to make them, she makes these things and she does really good job with all of these. She's all about it. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. The plushie meatball, right? And they'll have eyes and all that stuff on it and blah, blah, blah. So welcome, Stephanie. Good to see you. So I need to see what the voting says on this, and then I will give the go-ahead on things to get some things made. And then when she gets the cup to me, I'll show you what the cup looks like. And then the T-shirt will be done. Of course, I'll be wearing it to show you what it looks like. And it's just going to be, at this moment, what I'm going with right now is the logo, the big blue thumbprint thing in the middle of the shirt with True Crime Cafe. Okay. Now, whether or not you get a name on it, on the back of it, maybe, you know, your name or my name or whatever. I wouldn't put my name on your shirt, but, you know, unless you want to walk around, people call you Dago. And we'll see what happens with all that stuff. But, you know, I hate to talk about that kind of stuff. I've never been someone to push merch or anything. Good God. Merch or anything like that. But I'm getting a ton of emails and questions and requests, so I have to look into it at the very least. Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna drop down and then come back up and see if that does anything with the static thing.
Okay, do what you gotta do. Let me know.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Go for it. I'll give you a new link right there. That way you don't have to go look for it. And we got 81%. Vote, everybody. That way we can get out of here. Welcome, Noni. Good to see you. Bred to kill you all. Good to see you. Dago my ego. Wow. A life-size doll. You don't want one of them, Carolyn. I'm telling you, you don't. Plushie meatball. What's the name of the thing? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what we'll do with that for sure. We'll figure it out. A cuddle Dago. There you go. You give it to the dog to chew on or whatever you want. Thank you, Mandy Joe. I appreciate that. It seemed to be that way. I appreciate the support you guys give me no matter where I'm at. It's everywhere I've gone, especially here. You guys are just super welcoming and supportive, and I really do appreciate that more than I can explain. That's what I'm talking about, Jules. Yeah. A Sherlock Holmes style meatball bobblehead holding a huge magnifying. That would be a lot of work, but yeah, we could do something like that. Welcome back, Mama Bear.
Hello.
Did that work?
It didn't fix it, but oh well. It'll be fine.
I don't get it. You're the only one
I don't know
hearing
why
it.
I hear it, but nobody else.
Welcome,
does.
Tina Marie. Good to see you. Mojo's in the house. Great to see you as well. What is something that Dago always says? Everything. I mean, I never shut up. What are you talking about, Mandy? I always say,
no one. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I do say that. I always say 1,000,000, 1,000, 100% with everything I talk about when I feel strongly. I say that all the time. Are you wearing headphones? No, you're not wearing headphones.
Let me see if it's with my headphones. I'm gonna find my headphones.
Pappy, I know Pappy just see that. All right. Well, we're at 81% on the vote. So make sure you get your votes in before I empty it. Typically unique. Did I see that? Anna Flavia Constantina, welcome. Good to see you. We got 288 peeps in here. We did break 100 likes. Thank you guys for that. You guys are awesome. Welcome to all of you meatballs and family members. It's great to have you all here. Welcome to the sauce, guys. We are going to spill some today. Whoa, you changed your thing up. I like that. Avatar. That's pretty cool. Could they go unmuted? There you go. You should get something that says you're muted, because I'm always damn muted. Gaya Deguchi, good to see you. Though Richard's in the house, good to see you. Stephanie says I'm a lurker, usually crocheting as I listen. So hello and love and blessings to all. And thank you so much for joining us, Stephanie. I love your picture there. That's really cool. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look at that. We have a brand new meatball, folks, and it's, of all people, Jules of all trades. How about that one? Welcome to the family, Miss Jules. Good to have you. You are now a meatball. Sorry to say.
Well, thank you, Poppy Man. So it must be my speakers.
Okay, so you don't hear it now?
There's no static in my headphones.
Okay. So she tried to blame me. It's always my fault. Typical.
It usually is.
Ah. I'm out. I'm done. She checked. It's her show now. I'm bye. Just kidding. Peaches 81. Good to see you. Yeah, it's like the coffee cup idea. A long time overdue. I never think about this kind of stuff. Neither do I. I did it with you too, just recently, over there, because I don't ever think about it when I go over there. You know what I mean? It's not a thing. But I am now a member of your channel over there. So I guess we're even now, huh? So I'm trying to set this up because it always takes me forever to do this. So all right, let's check the poll, because we like polls, like I said. Merch. Okay. I ended it. Where did it go? Good Lord, my computer. Work with me today, please. 79% of you said yes to merchandise and 20% said no. Out of 96 votes. Well, I guess that means yes. 1 minute, Mama Bear. I have to set something up anyway.
Okay. Right, Molly? It's going to be fun. I didn't quite catch what he said the numbers were, but I assume it was probably pretty high. I may be able to help with some merch if Mikey gives me his cricket that he has in a box. Do what?
Welcome, Jules, once again to the family. All right, where's Brandy's? I know she always puts this in here, and I can't find it right now. There it is. That is pinned in chat for any of the members that would like to join the Discord. Thank you guys for voting on that scenario. So I guess I will give the go-ahead to start moving on some merchandise stuff. I can't give you guys any prices or anything yet because we still haven't worked all that stuff out, but we'll figure it out soon and see what we have to offer to start with, see how it goes, and then we'll go forward that way.
Mikey, you mean you're going to dust off the box? Because you said you hadn't even taken it out of the box.
Can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're muted.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're muted. You're muted. Muted. She's in denial now, folks. I think it's because of the headphones. You have to go in and change your settings in because you put headphones on. Yeah, see? I know what I was talking about.
Now, smarty.
She's a bobblehead too. I wasn't even looking at her, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Can you hear me now?
You gotta give her a hard time. You can hear her. She's not muted. Well, why are you muted in here then?
I don't know. Did you mute me?
I don't hear a word. Oh my God. Hold on a minute.
You muted me. Really?
Dumb. Hold on.
You muted me. How rude.
When the phone rang, I turned it down. So no, you're not muted. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. My apologies. I meant that. Yeah, derp is right. Derp. I swear to you guys, I'm really so much smarter than I seem. A Dago. Yeah, I definitely need a dunce cap for sure. That was stupidity. Sorry, folks. Good Lord.
I still needed to change. I mean, I still changed the thing. So
See, I knew what I was doing. I was a plan, folks. I did that on purpose just to get things to go, the right way. Susu, good to see you.
Like my fault.
No, it's always my fault. It's always been my fault. Everything is. Everything will be. No matter what happens, it always has been. Ms. Lindy, good to see you.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. But...
Katie Perrin, good to see you. Marie, men. Yes, we are definitely the secondary species in my mind. I'll be honest with you. I've always said that. The Richard, good to see you as well.
Very true, Noni. It's Monday, so all is forgiven on a Monday.
Okay, so what's my excuse? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
No, you're just you. But we accept you for who you are.
Yep, there we go. Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that. 327 kick-ass people tuning in right now. Thank you so very much. Please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Leave me some DNA on the like button, folks. Share this out to everybody you think would want to be in here. And don't forget to leave comments after the fact. So let's get down to it. Now that I got all the doo-doo stuff out the way. Where am I?
Hello, Richard. It's been a minute. Richard's here. I haven't seen Richard in...
Oh, yeah. He hasn't been here in a little while, I don't think. Oh, well, no. He was here last stream, I thought, wasn't he?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right. You weren't here. Okay. Gotcha. I forgot. Where is I am? I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, yeah. Here we go. And again,
100% Caroline.
I do want to thank Lana again for having me jump up there yesterday, listen to what I had to say. Very respectfully, I appreciate you. It was nice to have a talk with you. It's the first time I've done it. It was actually a very nice conversation we had,
Yeah.
I think that's because we're both from Ohio and we're both Browns fans. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's what it was,
That could be.
The only other thing that can make it perfect is if she uses Androids too and knows how crappy iPhones are. That would be the best.
That again.
That would be the best. That would be the icing on the cake. Welcome, Kendra. Good to see you. I'm just teasing, guys. Nothing against anybody that uses iPhones. I just don't personally like them. It's just me. I probably should use one, but I prefer Android. I always have. Amy Locke, good to see you from Bulgaria. Welcome from Bulgaria. Awesome. Yes, we are Browns fans. Thank you, Noni. I appreciate that. I tried. I think that was the first time that Atlanta and I have ever actually interacted. I've messaged back and forth a couple times, but nothing like serious. So
yeah, and I thought it was great. You both were just really cool, laid back. It was relaxed and just an open, easy conversation. It was awesome.
Very, very comfortable conversation. Absolutely, yes. Amen to that one, Mandy Joe. Rest in peace, Jim Brown, the man. Yes, he was. Vincent Cook, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. All right. Mikey, I forgot. I know I didn't say hi to you. So welcome, Mikey, my brother. Good to see you. 1 second. Give me 1 second as I load this again.
Okie dokie. Yep, Michigan, me too. All Apple. I mean, my tablet is Android only because it is. Yeah, he does need a secretary. So did anybody do anything fun this weekend? I worked. Actually, I had Saturday off, but I worked Friday and Sunday, so. Oh, we added a new animal to our zoo. That happened yesterday. Kim, I saw Kim Marin. I saw that you said that your Discord is working again. I am so glad. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome.
Sorry
It's
about
furry.
that.
We got a new dog, the puppy.
Who does?
We did. We added to our zoo.
You have another dog.
Well, we've never had a dog. This is our first dog.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So, he is all white with a little bit of brown to go along with our cats.
You color match your animals together?
Not intentionally.
That's a new one for me. I mean,
Yeah,
hey, at least you're fashionable.
He's 6 months old. His name is Ghost.
Cool.
And he is a Labrador retriever, and
because I'm gonna eat some. I haven't yet.
I think it's wired hair retriever.
So did you, and you ate something else.
But he's more lab than anything.
Okay, relax, dude. Sorry, guys. My 17-year-old's arguing with me about everything.
Of course.
Because he's 17. Congrats on the dog. Yes. Sounds cute. Where's the dog at? Are we gonna see him or no?
Let me go see where he's at.
No worries. No rush. So let me get to this point here. Something else that I concluded too. Until I get something else thrown my way that's like conclusive or concrete, I should say, evidence about Eden. I'm struggling with putting him together with this, guys. And that was something that I had told her yesterday when I was there yesterday too. I just can't. It doesn't seem to fit the bill, in my opinion, but that's purely speculative because we don't know yet everything. So as of right now, it's all about cars, cars, cars. That's right, Sarge.
He went to take a nap with Matt.
That's okay. No worries. I'll see him eventually, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can.
Trying to get to this. Okay, here we are. All right, again, this content came from Truth and Transparency, Lana's stream from yesterday afternoon. And that is exactly, Eddie. That's my thought on it, too. That's what we're going to be discussing a little bit, and then we're going to go on to something else. So thank you guys all once again, for joining me and putting up with all the crap that happens in the very beginning of each one of my streams. It takes me forever to get to the point because I am 100% adult ADHD, and I'm all over the place trying to keep it together. So thank you for bearing with me. I appreciate you guys so very much. So for those of you that didn't see this yesterday, I know I've seen quite a few of you guys in there. I never did understand that, Sophie. Why is that suspect car number 1? Is there another? Well, looks like there could be. I don't know. Based on what they've told us, there isn't. Thank you, Heather. Once again, guys, this channel is 100%. Oh, he's cute. That's a puppy?
Yeah.
Good Lord. It's going to be big. Or she. Is it a he or a she?
It's a he.
He. Okay. Um, again, guys, this channel is 100% crowdfunded. That's why I put the links up. If not for that, I wouldn't be here. So thank you guys so very much that feel generous enough to support the channel. For those of you that have already done it, thank you again. He's adorable. And for those of you that choose not to, no worries. I still love each and every one of you the same. So thank you. Yeah, there wasn't Nancy Grace that said that, Vincent. That was that other creature woman that I can't stand that said that he could be a cannibal. I won't even listen to her voice anymore. Nancy's better though, in my opinion. So, all right. I do this every single damn time. All right, I want to make sure you can hear what she says and what I'm saying at the same time. Welcome, Rhode Island. Good to see you. To leave it open in case there ends up being another vehicle, maybe. Very possible. I can agree with that. CL, that is, where did it go? There it is. CL says something that I've been thinking very possibly as well. I'm not convinced the car was involved at all. Great point. The PCA never places the car in the PCA at the house. Gas station car was never confirmed to be involved at all. If it was, they would put up that photo. Thank you. That's a great point. But because they went, and this is something I want you guys to think about and hear again. I keep telling you guys how verbiage is so important. Language and body language and all these things are so important. They really are, guys. As we've seen, Rory put up a video yesterday. Great video, my friend. If you're listening, great job. And he says in that video, going all the way back to the beginning, when they start talking about the white Elantra, that there may be persons, not singular, plural, like he explained. Persons, that means more than one, possibly 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 12 clown car could have been, who knows, but definitely more than one persons in that vehicle. Important words, folks, very important words. Great comment, CL. Thank you for that. There's no way to prove at this point that there is a vehicle. Okay. But they want us to believe that there is for some reason. I guess because they keep shoving it down our throat. They did for how long with that stupid car? Jules says exactly. We are going off the body cam car and the 7-Eleven car when comparing anything to the Bolo, but we have yet, fact, to see the one they actually see in all the camera footage. Thank you. Well, when I saw this yesterday, I had to speak up, guys, because you know how I am. I can't be quiet. And Jules also says, yeah, it's been plural since the beginning. And I've had people state that it's listed that way because there is more than one claiming to be law enforcement / PI. Thank you, Jules. As always. And yes, the PCA is complete bullshit, Vincent, in my opinion. I'm sorry. It is, and it has been from the beginning. I don't care who hears me say that at this point because it is. Let's see. Mandy says the footage from the gas station doesn't have timestamps, right? And it was sent by an employee, not received during a canvass. Correct. That's something important that we all need to understand and remember for those of you that don't get that. That video that we saw of the white Elantra, quote unquote, was not from a police canvas, guys. That came from somebody that works at a gas station, quote unquote. Okay. That's where that came from. So, you know, they don't want us to take things that we get, you know, from social media or from this or from that aren't fact. That's not a fact. Okay. Understand that. But they talked about it enough, though. That's the problem. So anyway, moving forward, let's get this moving here a little bit.
Was it just me, or did anybody else think that Brian looked like a Fed in court?
Oh, yeah, he did.
I was like, dang, he looks like a Fed walking out of there.
That's a nice suit, I'll say that much. Definitely a nice suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recall that same news story also talking about why it had been a month since the murders, yet so many local businesses had been talked to. Right, right. Why not? Doesn't make sense. Yes, he did. He looked very clean cut, he had a haircut and everything, it looked like. So, yeah, I mean, he came out looking professional for sure.
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
Right. Taken with a cell phone, not even the actual footage collected from law enforcement. That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
They should not have used it that way. Okay. And then they show us a stock photo. That usually says something, guys. Okay. When they show a stock photo that, okay, for instance, let's go backwards here. Let's look at something real quick here, just before I jump into this. When we covered the Kylie Rodney case, okay, obviously they couldn't use her vehicle that was missing because they didn't know where it was. So they used a stock photo. Okay. So either that's usually a problem if they don't have the actual photo of the vehicle in progress or in that's involved in the commission of the crime. That's a problem. That means they don't have it. You know what I'm saying? It's not there. They don't have it for real. So stock photo. That's what that usually means, guys. All we got was that one video from a cell phone of a car going by a gas station fairly quickly. That I definitely do not believe is a white Elantra, and I'll show you why. And we're off. And again, thank you, Lana, for this.
Sorry.
There it is. There's the white Elantra. Okay. I mean, this is one more cleaned up in my opinion. You see the blur marks with this as it's going by, so it is what it is. But anyway, I'll let her explain it, and then we'll talk about what she says.
Here we go. So this was the video that was seen right outside the gas station. Okay. That they try to like put another car over and do those things. Okay. When they did that, you could what they tried to put over the vehicle, in my opinion, was an extended more back, a back area. And if you actually look at people thought it was like it could be possibly be like a Tesla. It's not an Elantra, and no, it's not a Tesla. But here, that's kind of what you see. All right.
Okay, that picture there is a little different now that we're seeing the back end of it. Okay, now watch this.
You're going to see, this is like it taken from the camera angle of everything that you guys have seen.
All right, look at the car now. Okay, now tell me that doesn't match up, wheels and all. And guess what that is, everybody?
Prius.
See it's like a rack on top.
It's a luggage rack is what it is. It's removable. You can put it on, you can take it off. I'm sorry, Heather. Well, I'm talking right now, but when I go back to this, I'll shut the I'll make it not echo. Sorry. Yeah, it's a Prius, guys. That is the Prius. I'm sorry, but hold on.
You guys see that? You guys see that rack on top? Racks on racks on racks.
And that's the other thing that we've talked about. Jules and I have talked about that. I think Lana and I touched on that. It's white, yes, but it doesn't. It very well could be silver. Okay, you can't really tell, folks, especially at night when you got light glare and all sorts of stuff. I mean, come on. All the cars look like a white bar of soap. Good point, Vincent. Good point. Nice rack. That's right, Mandy. Nice rack. I love her to death. That's why she got that ranch. All right, move along. Now look at that one.
Yep.
You guys see that vehicle? You guys see racks on racks on racks?
What is that, guys? A Prius. Again, this thing here, there's two things you unscrew and it comes off. That's it. So Vince said it could even be a very pale blue. It in the dark, yeah, it sure could. But this vehicle here, she found in this area, and I'll give you the address, of course, that she gave. Not saying that that's the actual vehicle that was in that picture for sure. Okay, but look, guys, look at it. I mean, I was just like, damn, okay. And I said this before. And that's the question of the day, folks, is who drives a white Prius or a silver Prius or something like this, okay? We don't know at this point. Under review, by the way, I did see the New York Times article that talks about how Moscow police were originally looking for a Nissan Sentra. And then also this morning, I was talking with Miss Jules, and we reminded each other of the police stop in October where Brian got pulled over, and they were looking. They called that car a Sonata, I think it was. When they came back, he was running his place. I mean, how many cars are there, you guys?
Right.
I mean, I know this sounds ridiculous to talk about it like this, and it is all over the place, you guys. Thank you, Molly. I knew there was one coming. And absolutely under review. Thank you for that. But yeah, I did see that article, and I'll find it for you guys if you need me to, but it's there. That's what they were looking for. And these are all cars of that same variation of style in some sense, okay? So I get it. 2005 Sonata, that's correct. That was the car that came back when they were talking about, when they were running the plates, when he was pulled over by the female police officer, okay, in October. So again, and that doesn't really happen like that, guys. I talked to police officers that I know about that. When they ran it, they come back as a Sonata. And I asked him, how does that happen? He goes, it doesn't really happen that way unless there are options, okay? And I was telling Jules this morning, in Ohio, guys, just so you know, just to answer the question about that, maybe, this isn't a factual answer, but maybe, if the man, I should say he's not a boy, happened to own a Sonata beforehand and he bought this new vehicle, and he had license plates on the Sonata that were not expired at this point. When he bought the Elantra, they very well could have transferred the plates over to from the Sonata to the Elantra. You can do that in Ohio now, is what I'm saying. I don't know if you can do that in Washington, PA, or in Idaho, okay? I don't know how that works. But my policeman friend that I talked to said that's still a reach, because when they call in and they run through the CAD system and they look all this stuff up, usually that's pretty accurate. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see. But again, here we are with this vehicle right here. Thank you once again, Miss Lana. Appreciate it so very much. It's pretty interesting, folks. If you look at the wheels, they're the same. Let's back up just a second here. See it? There's that, and then we have this. There's that, and then we have that vehicle, and then this vehicle, and then this vehicle. I don't know what the hell we're looking at for sure. We don't know what the hell we have, what the vehicle is for sure at this point. Never really, in my opinion, have. So all I'm saying is, this is something to think and look at. Think about and look at. Thank you so much, Farts and Truth. I love the name. Farts and Truth. Yes. Try imagine being serious and saying that. All right, guys, coming today on the panel, we have Farts and Truth. We're going to talk about some serious issues here. I love it, though. I absolutely love it.
Hello, Dad.
There we go. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Google 2015 white Kia Forte. Looks like an Elantra. They sure do. We did that already. Remember way back when we were covering this? We looked it up and overlapped it. It's the same car almost. In fact, that's the car that I thought it was. Thank you so much, Anina. Another super sticker. Thank you for that so very much. So, folks, 680 Steiner Avenue is where this car was found. Now, yes, the tag on this says something 2021 is where it came from, okay? Annie, welcome. Good to see you. Down in the corner here, one of my mods saw that and so on and so forth, that it was from 2021. That doesn't mean that that person still doesn't live there, okay? And that's just when that picture was taken from, so we don't know. But it's in that area, okay? Duck farts. I'm sorry. Thank you, Eugenia, for correcting me. Duck farts. Gotcha. And duck farts and truth. That's even better. I love it. I love it.
Right?
Today, guys, I'd like to welcome to the panel Duck Farts and Truth for a very serious conversation. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Awesome. I love it. You guys are great. CL says, I think dispatch misspoke. Simple as that. Very possibly. Absolutely. Thank you. Yes. Deb's paranormal journey. Yes. Journey. Thank you. And welcome, Deb. Great to have you here. Great to see you too, Annie. Katie Perrin. Good to see you. I thought the dispatch first said Sonata, then said my bad sedan. Probably is exactly what happened, to be honest with you. No red DNA in said vehicle house and no convict equals no conviction. That's a fact. And that's something we're going to talk about here up in a few minutes. But
So
again,
when
guys,
he transferred the plates, they weren't like, I mean, they were about to expire in Washington or in PA when he switched into Washington, right?
yeah. His birthday came up there very, very close after that, I believe. And then, but what I was saying was with that whole scenario that I had talked about was that sometimes you can transfer from an old car to a new car. You can transfer the same plates here in Ohio is what I was saying. Eddie says that ExxonMobil security cam pic was first introduced on 12/13, according to the New York Post article. Thank you, Eddie. That's a fact. 1 month to the day, December 13th. Mommy for the win. That's another cool name. Yes, crime committed before he switched plates has nothing to do with his birthday, just registration or registration dates. I thought it was his birthday. I'm sorry. My fault. Misinfo.
Well, I was just trying to think if it was like coming up to be expired, it wouldn't be like out of the norm to, switch.
No, yeah, you're right. You are right.
So.
Aren't you always? You are right.
No, but
you're pretty close. Pretty close. Welcome, Willow. Good to see you. The Richard says, the Richard got me about the same lack of seriousness as well in the start. No, you can't. Not at all. I just love the way it sounds. That's all. I love the names, period. The names are awesome. I mean, take my name, for instance. People were like, can I call you that? I said, well, I named myself. Of course you can. You're not going to be offended? No. I wouldn't put it out here. Thank you, CC, for that again. I appreciate you. He had to switch within the first 30 days. Yes. He did expire November 30th. Right. Well, that's why I think he had to do it. Well, the registration on the plates usually expires on your birthday, though, folks. I know that's how it is here.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, when your birthday pops up, that's when your registration expires, usually. Unless you get, you spend that high amount of money that's like, I think you can you get 3-year plates there in Indiana?
I'm not sure.
I think you can here now. It's the thing they give you is you can get a 3-year tag, but it's stupid expensive.
Well, the way our plates are and the way the way Ohio does theirs is, remember I told you we had to pay out like, what was it, $500 for our stickers?
Okay, yeah.
You about fell out of your chair.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it has everything to do with your birthday in Ohio because it goes like you can get, like, say your birthday, mine's in November, okay? for anybody that cares. November's my birthday. Anyway,
So is mine.
you can
So
send all the presents directly to. Just kidding. It's a once a year registration, but you can also do it like 6 months, 3 months. If your birthday, like if you buy a car, if I buy a car right now and get a plate for it, you get a temp tag for 30 days, and then you can go get your, once the registration and all that is done and the title's transferred over and all that, you can get your plates. Now, here's the thing. Yes, November, Willow. What was I going to say now? So we're in June. So we'll just say July, August, September, October, 5 months. You don't have to pay that full registration or that full fee. You just pay it up to whatever your birthday month would be. And then boom. Now, once you get those plates, then you have a full year from that date to get it. Is what I'm saying. And then it always falls on your birthday that they come due again.
I think smalls may be right for us. I think
I'm talking
license
about
is our birthday, and then the car.
Yeah, the
is
car
our purchase
itself.
date.
No, yeah. The car is different altogether. I'm sorry if I'm misinforming you of something. I don't mean to. I'm trying to explain the registration and the plate sticker and your plate. That's the little sticker on your license plate is the registration sticker. Okay, that has to be renewed here every year on your birthday or close to. But I'm not saying that that's everywhere. That's just here in Ohio.
Wow, Jules, you guys have to have inspections once a year? We don't have inspections at all.
We don't either. PA does. I know that. I bought it in Florida. Most other states do. My truck came from Florida, and they had to have their stuff inspected all the time. Luckily, which is why I had a decent truck.
Ooh, that's right. We do share a birthday with Koberger.
Who?
Me and you.
We do?
'Cause
What is his birthday?
His birthday's in November too. I think it's 22nd, which is my
that's right.
sister's birthday.
Mine's the 23rd.
Mine's the 11th, so.
Every damn year, and you can't do the annual registration payment until after your inspection. Ew, that sucks.
Oh.
I mean, I guess no there was inspection stickers on my truck when I bought it, and it came from Florida, Gina. Right on the windshield. I don't know if it was through the. I'm pretty sure it said FL, and then there was a number and inspection approved, blah blah blah, all this other stuff. Good to see you, T2014. 11/21 is Koberger's birthday. Okay. Wow, that's weird.
You know what? We have to redo. I was just thinking, we have to redo our registrations once a year, and we do it every year around March because it goes by our last name because it starts with a D.
It's in chat, Eddie. Go ahead, bud.
Isn't that weird?
It is. It is. I know a lot of states are different in different ways for different things, but
so stupid.
Sarge.
All right. We can get back to.
What's up, Sarge? Are you here?
You what?
Yes, I'm here.
What's up?
Ah, go ahead.
Hang on, I got to turn off the volume on the stream.
That's okay.
Okay. Look, the interesting thing is, and this I'm sure you're, and maybe many people in the chat are well aware, that warrant and what they've done with Mr. Koberger has been a conspiracy theory from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay. We don't know what car that is, but what we do know, we know this unequivocally, that there's nothing to place Brian Koberger in that car. Right?
Right.
Correct.
There's no license plate number. There's no clear image of anybody in the vehicle. There's
Right.
There's police people asking for a white sedan with people in it to question them. So they're talking plural. So nothing identifies Koberger as being in the car.
And there's
go ahead.
Right. Now, I was just going to say, there's also a couple other cars that look just like that same car in that area that have been looked at too, just so you guys know. Now,
Right.
that's all I'm That's all I'm saying. So therefore, and they don't belong to Brian Koberger. Just remember that. So go ahead, Sarge.
Exactly. They don't, and it's the Prius, the Ford Focus, it's the Hyundai Elantra, the Elantra, the Hyundai Sonata. There's a couple other manufacturers that in a profile view mimic one another. So there's 6 cars from 5 different manufacturers. But the key point is why I call what they're doing to this guy a conspiracy theory is because his phone wasn't on and you could show that he frequented in that area, even frequented in it where you're showing me going in and out of different stores.
Yep.
That's the fact his phone is off doesn't make him a killer.
Right.
Correct.
Right. That doesn't prove he was at the house.
That's
the cars don't prove that he was at the house, regardless if it's a Prius or a Sonata. We still don't have any way to confirm that that vehicle was occupied by Brian Koberger, let alone owned by him, because there's no cell ping to identify it in that area at that time. Right.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And here's the thing, guys. There could be multiple reasons why that is, because somebody could have borrowed his car. Somebody could have taken his car. Somebody could have been in a different car. I mean, there's too many different options as to look at it. And the biggest thing that what Sarge is saying is there is absolutely zero proof. None. Nothing.
Right.
That's the biggest point. Go ahead.
And Jules, with her amazing stream, when she came forward and produced documents that she said she had missed, and she showed us that the police or the prosecutor was telling the court to ignore the DNA and to issue the warrant on the remainder of the evidence, if possible. See, that right there, and then they objected in motions for Koberger to give them the DNA stuff.
Right.
That right there says to me that he was actually given an arrest warrant that lacked probable cause.
Right.
Because the 2 points we just discussed, the cell pings in the phone or the car, those 2 don't show Brian Koberger at all.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying the guy
100%.
didn't get it. You know, I was in a different stream earlier and the guy ended up doxing me. He literally doxed me. Yeah.
Really?
Well, you know, when I call you, my information comes up on your phone because I've called you, Dago.
Yeah, I don't put it out there though.
No, but that T-Rev doxed me.
Wow, I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Life goes on. I just sent him an email requesting he edit his stream. If he doesn't, then if people harass me, then I'll take action. If it goes unnoticed, then I have no problem.
You're right. That's ridiculous, though.
You know. But in this case, I guess that's the kind of stuff I tried to explain that to them in the stream over there, and they're all that he's guilty. He's guilty. And look, I can't argue for his innocence, no more than I can argue towards his guilt. But I certainly can observe the information that the government has issued. And that is so deficient in its basis to have arrested this guy that that's
what we're getting ready to jump into. It's amazing that you brought that up because that's our next conversation.
I would have arrested the 2 roommates. Sorry if anybody thinks I'm being a victim shamer, but I'm not.
No, you're not at all.
But that would make more sense than Brian at this point.
Right. Yes, their actions that day and their responses to me would have been enough to bring those people down and maybe even hold them.
Right.
Because that's so curious, the situation. Then there were kids on the property. If all of this that we've been told is true, I don't know how you create this story. It has to be Brian. Unless you use the let's call it what it is. Transfer DNA. It's not touch DNA. That's a new word, not to be rude. But when you say unalived is a new way to say killed.
Yes.
And it distorts, it's distorting in a way. So when you say touch DNA, you're distorting the fact. The fact is it's transfer DNA. That's what it really is. And that's why they don't use it in many prosecutions. And that's exactly why documents that Miss Jules showed us, okay, those documents are important because the police themselves are conscious of how that can be handled in a court.
Absolutely.
Right. She really, when she went back and found that, and I used to do a lot of research during the Trump era, and I dealt with General Flynn and a whole bunch of different people personally. And it'd be amazing what you find when you go back through documents. So I commend her for doing that. That was epic what she showed. You know, I actually got it bookmarked.
Oh, she's been all over that. Like, she'll tell you herself. She'll probably be jumping up here in a minute too. So yeah, I agree with you. That's why we're going to be looking at this. This is a different channel that I had somebody referred me to, and they make some seriously good points based on what you just said, my friend. So, and it's something that we've all been talking about. and I'm not talking bad about T-Rev. I don't talk bad about other channels or creators, but I hope he didn't do the whole doxing thing on purpose. I'd like to think that wasn't purposely
No, I think he did, because after me, he said to the next caller, can you give me your last name so I can dox you too?
Well, then that's exactly what that was. So my apologies, my friend.
He said it in jest, but he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. And they all do. I have watched his streams, and they are 100% that he's guilty. And I don't understand that. I don't agree with it. But how do you say that? Because they're not showing any. What I've understood from it, I may be wrong by the way I took it, was that he says that they have their proof, and they're not showing proof of anything else. Well, but they're not showing proof that he did it either.
I can agree with him on the look. They've got 51 terabytes of data, but let me just say this.
Yes,
I believe that data is inadmissible in court because of the process they used to arrest the man. They didn't investigate Brian Kohlberger at all. They didn't approach him. They didn't do anything that you would normally do to secure a suspect and get a warrant to arrest them.
Right.
They relied 100% on this DNA, this transfer DNA and the genealogical tests, right?
Yeah.
3 different labs handled 20 microscopic particles of DNA, and they shared them with 3 labs. So, there's a lot of questions Mr. Kohlberger should have answered. And I believe that they should have, based on the way the laws are, not because I shouldn't even say the word believe. The laws are written to protect you from government. Government should not obtain a warrant with a theory and then chase you. That theory has to have supportable facts. This is Brian Kohlberger's car. This is Brian Kohlberger's location prior to the murders and after the murders, which is, there has to be more, and they just don't have it. This knife sheath contained the potential weapon used in this crime. You see, Brian Kohlberger has a receipt for buying that. They didn't find out he actually still owned it until they executed the warrant. But when you go to arrest an American citizen, there's rules these people have to follow, and they just didn't do it with Kohlberger.
And the one thing that I've never understood, and I think I've said this before, if I haven't, my apologies, but I understand that you don't. Well, here's the thing: if they were looking at him, according to what they said, a little while before they picked him up, right? Why didn't you have this guy come down to the station, sit down, have a conversation with him, like you do with every other case that I've ever seen, pretty much, and say, hey, we just have some questions for you, because I'm sure he wouldn't have fought that. Okay, you want to stop down the station or go pick him up or whatever you want to do and have a conversation with him beforehand. They didn't do that. That bothers me. It's always bothered me. Okay. Therefore, they just went from nothing to kicking in his front door and dragging him back to Idaho to do what they're doing right now. That makes no sense to me. It never has.
Right. And even worse, when people say there's probably more information that we don't know about, I'm not going to agree or disagree with that. But what I'm going to say is that when you are arrested, just like I said with Emma Bailey, who I'm no fan of, unless you exhibit probable cause, you can't be arrested. That's right. And when you go to a court for a heinous murder like this, and your only probable cause is that information we have, you blurry picture of a car, cars that look, we got pictures of Elantra in that area. Okay, Brian owns an Elantra, but maybe I do too. What else?
Why was he never interviewed?
Right.
That's my question. That's what I'm saying. Why?
Why didn't they go to his college? See, the thing that really offends me is that your character goes towards a judge's decision.
Yes.
Mr. Kohlberger has no criminal history.
Nope.
Okay. Mr. Kohlberger is a teacher's aide in a top-level criminal course, right or wrong. Going to get a PhD, for God's sake.
He's got a decade's worth of education in criminology forensics. He's got a master's degree in psychology. Right.
I have no idea. What does a PhD stand for? I don't know. I quit high school. I have no idea.
It means he's got a doctorate in something. He doesn't have it yet. He was working on it, but it's a doctorate.
Right. That's a big deal. It's so big of a deal that they got to abbreviate the word. You just call me GED. Right. I'm a JED kid. Okay. I got a GE. My point is that stuff is relevant when you review the application for a warrant.
Right.
And it wasn't done here.
No, not at all. Not at all. I would think that they went to the ex-boyfriend they questioned him for a full 24-hour period or a 12-hour period, from what we understand. Why didn't they go question this guy?
Why, look at I've been both sides of the law. The last 30 years, I've been on the right side of the law.
His master's is in psychology as well, Jameson. He has a master's degree in psychology too.
I would have swabbed his car door handles. I would have followed the kid around discreetly and went to one of those places where he got a drink, and I would have got his cup.
Yeah.
I would have went to his employer and asked them on character basis, can you give me a little information on Mr. Kohlberger? We have a concern with him.
Any of that.
Quiet. You go to his boss. You go to his workplace. Swab his desk drawer. Swab the handles of there was a million ways to obtain probable cause. And I think that they failed epically, and that's why they went to the grand jury.
Yep.
Which they should have done to begin with, just so you know. Very rarely do they find a hard suspect and not get a grand jury indictment and come get you.
Right.
That's usually how hard crimes are dealt with. Unless they're there to witness you do something. Then they'll arrest you on the spot for that crime, right?
Yes, sir.
One day you should cover Arthur Shawcross.
Okay.
That's a case that I'm familiar with from an area not too far from me.
What is the name of
he killed a dozen women.
What's his name again? Arthur what?
Shawcross.
I will look into that.
But you look at all of these cases, even the Dahmer guy, it seems to me like all of them had hard evidence that when you looked at the evidence, you said, that's going to be impossible to wiggle your way out of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was something. Brian Kohlberger was found with a knife. Brian Kohlberger, there was something in the warrant, the application for the warrant, that said to you, these people got the right reasons to arrest this guy. And sadly, I just don't see it here.
Nobody does. I don't. I can't say nobody does. Okay, but quite a few of us. I know I don't. Mama Bear doesn't. Jules doesn't. We've talked about it, guys, and I know quite a few of the rest of you don't either. But I don't understand anybody that directly looks at this and says he's guilty. I know he's guilty. That's it. We're not talking about anything else. He's guilty. He did this. He unalived those poor kids. End of story. How do you say that?
I don't know.
When you're looking at the situation, how do you say that? Is what I'm saying. How? That's all I want to know. I'm
going to go off on a little bit of a tangent. If you give me like 2 minutes, I want to go off on a small tangent.
Yeah, you can. And then Eddie, whenever Sarge is done, I'm sorry, but you can jump back up here. My apologies, sir.
We are not given news. We're told what to think about, how to understand it. That's what's being done to us. It's being done on every single major topic around the globe. It doesn't matter if it's global warming. You ask people how many glaciers are on Earth. Go to your friends that believe in they have no idea. And when you tell them 198,000 glaciers are on the planet Earth, their face freezes over, and it means nothing to them. Because they're told what to think, whether it be global warming or like Brian Kohlberger could very well be the killer here. I don't discount that. But I have a real hard time with government taking actions against an American that aren't constitutionally sound. If your acts are constitutionally sound, then you get the right result in the end. But there should be no shortcuts for government getting involved in our individual lives. That's why this country was created. We were created to be independent, and government was created to serve us. And we limited what they were supposed to do. And in this case, all of these people running around when they scream 51 terabytes of data, I say, well, that was only obtained after they got an insufficient warrant. Their warrant is deficient on cause. And if you take that warrant away, they wouldn't have this 51 terabyte of data. But if they did the case like you're saying, Dago, and they investigated the guy, brought him in for questioning, asked him to swab his cheek, and followed the law, then everything that came after that would be legally obtained.
Absolutely.
I think that's where the case is going to fall apart.
I agree.
It's tragic that so many of us don't put their liberty before your only question in this country should be, is your liberty being violated by the government? That's it. And if it isn't, then you go along with the program. If they're violating your civil liberties or your criminal, whatever they are, then that's where it stops right there. Now you have no right to prosecute me. And as far as I'm concerned, the conspiracy theory, the biggest one of all, is the PCA against Brian Kohlberger. That's a massive conspiracy theory.
Yes, sir. I agree. And I feel like that this was all done like this because they were in such a hurry to grab him and shove him into that jail cell to say we got our suspect. Here he is. He's the man. He's the only person involved in it. We know it for a fact. Here he is. Don't look anywhere else. It's right here. He's guilty.
Yeah.
Nobody else is. Right here. Brian Koberger. He's the only one. He's the guilty guy. He's right here.
And
That's
you go into that T-Rev channel, and I haven't said anything in there any differently, with any different tone, with any attitude that I've said in here. And everybody in there is convinced that this kid's guilty. And which, look, that's fine. But did you come to that conclusion of guilt because the information you're relying on was obtained constitutionally? And I don't believe it was. So I won't disagree with your insistence the guy's guilty. Okay, you can have that. But their process to get to that conclusion matters as much as actually the conclusion. Actually, it matters more because you're an American, my friend. And innocent people go to jail and guilty people go free.
That's right.
Okay? And that's the way it works. It's not supposed to be perfect, but it's supposed to protect you perfectly from your government's actions. And
Welcome,
their actions in this case are horrible. I want to tell a Dago joke, and then I'm going to let your other guy come up. You ready? So here's my Dago joke of the day. Dago tires. They go through snow, they go through rain, and when they go flat, they go whop, whop, whop.
That's awesome.
And bring in Eddie, whoever it is.
That was good. That was very good. Thank you.
I'm going to mute myself. Bring Eddie back in, or whoever.
Yes, sir. Come on up, Eddie. That was great.
Yep.
There's our comic relief for the day, folks. That was good. I never heard that one. They go whop, whop, whop. That's right.
Listen, I'm Italian myself. So
Amen.
I'm
Nothing
alone.
wrong with that. Where are you at, Eddie? He said he had to let his battery cool down for a second, but there he is. All right. Welcome, my friend. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Hey,
It's always
Eddie.
fun to listen to Sergeant Friday.
Yep. Always. Always. Just as much as it is with you, my friend. So
Yep.
what do you have for us today, sir?
Well, kind of to add on to what he was saying, I've been noticing that subscribers kind of follow the lead of the content creator.
In some senses, you're absolutely correct.
So another thing I wanted to add on to what he was saying is, there really isn't enough evidence even to put him at the crime scene, let alone even in the car. I think if they could have displayed that he was visible in the car by any of those security cameras or traffic cameras, they would have mentioned it in the PCA.
Correct.
I don't know if anyone's following the Madeline Kingsbury case out of Minnesota. If not, briefly, a 26-year-old mother of two in Winona, Minnesota, went missing on March 31st and under suspicious type of circumstances. Now, they found her body the 9th of June, and they, on the same day, arrested Adam Fravel. And Grizzly True Crime has kind of broke this down in such a manner that's really quite, it's interesting to see, and I would encourage everyone to take a look at it. But if you compare and contrast the probable cause against Adam Fravel versus the probable cause on Brian Koberger, you'll see that in the one case, we have established beyond doubt that there's means and motive and opportunity. Also, even though it's even much more rural area, there is, I would challenge, as much or more of these traffic cameras and security cameras throughout the counties where this Adam Fravel drove that day. And also he has, over the course of time, months and years, displayed a behavior that is very violent. So, although everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, if you read the probable cause against Adam Fravel, you'll probably be inclined to observe that his chances aren't looking good, and the noose is pretty tight.
Right.
I'll just leave it at that. But the reason why I wanted to kind of jump up real quick is to, I noted in the chat the date that ExxonMobil security camera picture of the white car, and that was on December 13th.
Right.
So, what else on that date of the timeline was happening? And I don't know. That's kind of why, and it's too complicated to chat and text in 200 characters, but maybe someone listening knows. But I'm thinking that white car and that security camera has nothing to do with anything other than to distract us, probably. They may have had that white car on that security camera picture for days, who knows, and chose to release it just to get us distracted and look over here.
Take a look over here, right.
You notice that security camera picture is kind of edited. It's cropped. You can't really see much beyond the car.
That's right.
So we can't even place, we can't trust that photograph of the security camera was taken on that date or the time, or even at that ExxonMobil location. We don't even know where it came from. It could have come from, the ExxonMobil that's by my house. We don't.
That could have came from one of the police officers that were investigating this. Not saying it did, guys. Don't take it that way. But I'm just saying it could have came from anybody. Some guy driving on the road said, "Hey, look at this picture," and gave it to somebody. You know what I mean? It's that simple.
Sure. I just wanted to point that out because
that's a great point.
It seems like it's not connected at all to anything.
And here's the thing, folks. If you're standing taking a picture from the corner of a gas station to the road, Eddie has an amazing point with this that I'd never really actually thought about. If you look at that picture, there's nothing but the car in the picture. I find it very hard to believe, knowing the type of phone camera that I have, that you didn't pick up a house or the other side of the road or anything behind or in front of that car. Nothing but that car. So it was definitely cropped and or worked on, I guess we could say, in my opinion. So yeah, great point, Eddie, and thank you for pointing that out again.
And lastly, before I hop off, it was good that you jumped up on chat with or on the panel with Truth and Transparency yesterday. She kind of explained to you about, we don't know that Steve Gonzalez thinks that the motive is because of this jealousy. They had this life, the way they notice, or I mean, the way they kind of put that together, they kind of asked the question in the studio.
Yeah.
And then
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just have the timestamp. If anyone wants to check that out, I would encourage everyone to look at the way she broke this down. But it is such a profound way that she kind of lays this out.
She definitely enlightened me on that, guys, and he's absolutely right. That opened my eyes beyond a level that I was like, oh my God, I never thought of that. So
she breaks it down in a profound manner, and it's worth looking at because we don't know that Steve thinks that, but the way they're trying to sell this motive so hard tells me that that's not the motive. And if incel theory or jealousy is not the motive, then you can discard one person doing the crime outright.
Yes, sir.
If I was the incel in the mad person, I can't come to you, Dago, and say, hey, tonight I got a favor to ask you. It's going to be at around 4:15 a.m. if you don't mind losing a bunch of sleep over it. But I need you to, hold on to this machete, and we're going to go cut down a couple trees inside of this house, and I'm going to have you do it on the second floor because I want nothing to do with the big tree that's in the bedroom in that room. But as a favor, would you help me out with this grudge that I got?
Yeah,
it's not like that. So
right,
it can't be incel. We can go ahead.
I don't believe it is, and it's funny that you said that too, because basically what he's saying, you guys, is that keeps everybody on the narrative that has been rolling. It seems to be the narrative they want us to follow, folks, because And I'll explain to you here in a minute what he's talking about for those of you that did not see what Lana had said yesterday. It blew my mind as soon as she said it. I'm like, damn, I never thought of that. That's a great point. What was the timestamp, Eddie, on that, if you had it?
Okay, it's from 1 hour and 4 minutes through 1 hour and 13 minutes.
1.04 to 1.13. Thank you.
But I was chatting, I forget who with, it might have been No Chains or the chick Antique, but or maybe someone else yesterday. And someone kind of floated an idea of more than one motive. And I kind of agree with that. But the one motive that I kind of have in my mind, I'm still kind of, I don't know if I'm ready to share it yet. It's kind of,
well, it's all speculative theory, by the way.
Speculative.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter anyway. But I mean, go for it, buddy. You know, we always love to hear what you have to say.
No, it splits the room. I kind of want to kind of talk to you about it, maybe one-on-one first, and then we can decide how wise it would be. But I don't want to create enemies. So
well,
I don't think Coral.
In here, I don't think you will, but that's fine. You know, you're more than welcome to call me anytime, or I can call you. In fact, if you would do me a favor, I'll call you. Go into the private chat right now since you're up here.
Okay.
And type a number into the private chat, and I will get a hold of you whenever I'm done with this, and we'll talk about it, okay?
Could I just ring your phone and then you just don't answer it?
Yeah, you can do that too. Whatever you want to do, bud. Whatever's comfortable for you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Anytime.
All right. Thanks.
Welcome to the sauce, Pam.
Absolutely. Yes. And Coral, thank you so very much. Welcome to the family, Pam. And I'll give you a real quick, I made a comment about that I had noticed that Steve had changed a bit with the way he was thinking about things and acting about things yesterday when I was talking to Lana. And I said, the comment that he made on the motive just came off as something different from what Steve had seemed to be coming off with before. And it just bugged me a little, you know. I was like, that's not typically what I would expect him to say. That doesn't sound like him, but I'm not anyone to judge what he feels or thinks by any mean whatsoever. And as I've told you guys, I have nothing but the utmost respect for them, the whole family, any of the families, okay? But them especially, because they've been there from the beginning, putting in the work to do the right thing by their daughter, okay? And again, so I don't want this to be taken as a disrespect by any means, because it's not. I just seemed, to me, it felt different coming from Steve Goncalves as what it was. So, and he said that the motive was based on the fact that he believed possibly that Kohberger was jealous of the love that Maddie and Kaylee had. Okay. And that's why it threw me off a little bit. Well, I mentioned that. Lana made a mind-blowing point I never thought of, that we saw that through the TV show, right? And that they have the ability to cut clips on things and make their own video based on what they want to do. Okay. And I never thought of it like that for a moment. And now I do that. What she's saying basically is that there's a very, very big chance that they asked him that question. And then that was a statement he made at another time. And they cut that in as the answer to the motive. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that's a fact, folks. He may very well have said that. Okay. Like that. But there's a grand possibility that they may have done something like that to make it fit their narrative for the TV show. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I know editing 101, 1000%, guys. And I never thought of that I don't know why. You would think I would, but I didn't. So it's a great point. And it was just like, damn, thank you, Lana. I never would have thought of that. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I didn't.
Can I just say, Dago, that when I was saying that they tell you what to think.
Yes, you're right.
That's exactly what they do with everything. Now, listen, if he believes that, I believe that he would believe that, because if you think Kohberger is the killer, then you would come up with the most logical explanation, and jealousy would be simply pretty logical.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't hold it against him, even if Brian Kohberger is innocent for thinking that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Because you're being told this one man killed these 4 students. So why? Jealousy. Yes. And I could see a father, you got a beautiful young daughter, and one guy came in and killed 4 people. If that's the case and he's the killer, that makes sense to me, whether Brian admits it or not.
Right. I agree. I absolutely agree. And yes, Annie, you can. The link is in the chat, dear. So yeah, that blew my mind yesterday when she said that, because I was kind of angry at myself, because I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Like, duh, you know? They do this like Sarge just said. They show you what they want you to see, period. And if they are pro Kohberger's guilty, yes, and I'm not saying the Goncalves, I'm saying the TV show, that's what they're going to show us. Okay, that's what they're going to show us. That's what's going to get their ratings. That's what's going to get their, you know, and that's what it's all about for media shows like that. It's not about the truth per se, in my opinion. It's about what ratings they're going to get.
I'll make it. I want to make an equivalent point. For years, the media told you that Donald J. Trump was elected with the help of Vladimir Putin.
Right.
Okay. An investigation just concluded within the last 60 days that said unequivocally every accusation against Donald J. Trump was invented by Hillary Clinton and her team. Every single one of them. Okay. Yet everybody in the country, there's half of the population thinks he was tied to Putin. Okay. The other half knows he wasn't, or believes. They don't know because they maybe didn't hear this information, because the media won't tell you that.
Right.
When it comes to locals, just my opinion and what you're seeing in Idaho, there's an outside influence, in my opinion, just like there is in our government, an outside influence to push a narrative and get us to see things the way they want us to see them.
Right.
Right. And in the Kohberger case, it seems pretty clear that that's exactly what's happening to this guy. And he, look, like I said, he might be the killer, but all of these different car pictures and all the things we've discussed ad nauseum all paint a picture of these people like their theory. Why is their theory any better than the guy with the theory that says Brent Kopeka did the murder? What makes the Kohberger theory better than a drug cartel theory?
Right.
Nothing. Right. Why are those other theories discounted? And why do you focus on Kohberger? Well, because you don't want anybody to look at those other theories. Like with anything, conspiracy theorists seem to be proven true when time passes, but so much time passes that being true now no longer matters. Right. All the people right. And that's the game that the media plays in conjunction with the people in charge.
Absolutely.
Whether it be in Idaho or Washington. And we're constantly drowned with this nonsense. And it's difficult to sort your way through it. And it's terrible to have to look at your country this way. You know what I mean? I'm an American. I love this country. And I have to question everything you tell me, because you just can't tell me the truth. Like, you can't tell me that the leader of Ukraine was installed by the Obama administration and it immediately started shelling the territories bordering Russia in 20. You can't tell the public that.
Well, no. They don't want us to look at it that way. That's why, of course.
That's a prime example. That war has been going on for 9 years. It had nothing to do with Trump. Had nothing to do with nothing. Russia didn't do anything wrong. When Russia captured Crimea, people don't know that all the naval bases on the Baltic Sea, the Western powers convinced those governments to cancel the leases to the Russian Navy. Russia said, okay, you don't want us to play by your rules. You don't want us to pay rent. You're not kicking us out of the Baltic Sea. We're going to take Crimea back. How do you like them apples? And look, I don't fault Putin for doing that. We should never have done what we did over there. It's our fault that war is going on. And yet the whole world, especially in America, we all believe, oh, Putin's bad. He is bad. Brian could be bad. But
we should have minded our business is what we should have done.
Yes, and facts matter. And when you know the facts, it becomes enticingly, and you think you're crazy, right? You got to question your own sanity.
That's right. You
know, why am I seeing these things and it's not put out in the public? Well, because the public is supposed to view it this way and only this way.
100%. Absolutely. That is a fact, sir. Real quick, Annie, I'll unmute you 1 second. I just want to welcome Lisa, Crimes Under Investigation. It's been a long time, my dear. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Lisa is a very, very, very special friend to this channel. We love her so very much, and it's great to see you back, my dear. Thanks for jumping in here today. I hope you're doing well, and know that we love you.
And we've missed you bunches.
Yes, very much so. And Miss Annie, welcome to the panel, my dear. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you're doing good, too. Can you hear me?
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Yeah, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
We can, but it's a little. Oh, are you on your Bluetooth again?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you back. It sounds like you're kind of like too close to your mic at some point.
How about now?
It's a little bit better. It's still kind of muffled.
All right, hang on one second. I'll take it out. So sorry. I
See,
got a
that's
new
okay.
one, hoping it would be better so that I can still do what I'm doing.
Maybe turn the volume down to your mic a little bit. Maybe that'll work. It does sound better than the other one did. I'll tell you that much.
All right, how's that? Is that any better?
Yes,
Much.
that's perfect, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is what happens though. I take my Bluetooth out and I can barely hear you guys, but you can hear me.
You can't
That's
hear us?
weird.
It is weird.
I can hear you, but I have to like put, I don't know, it's weird. Anyways, so how y'all
Okay.
doing?
Wonderful.
Good.
How are you?
Excellent, excellent.
You have a good weekend?
Absolutely. A well-deserved day
I just
off.
wanted to say Sarge is awesome.
Yes, he is.
I love it that there's another constitutionalist up
Yes.
here ranting about, you know, how nobody follows it lately.
We're getting wedding
Sophie.
we're getting marriage proposals here for him, so he's got something going right.
Right?
Let me make a point too on the Constitution, something that people don't realize, even if you're a constitutionalist. We have never, ever enjoyed what's written in that document, ever. It's an aspirational thing, just so you know. That document was written as the ultimate aspiration of what to become. And the reason I say that is slavery. I can list you a million reasons why that document has never been adhered to. And it's we the people that must impose upon the government officials to adhere to that document. That's
right.
our job.
That's
and,
right.
And to do anything less is a tragedy. And that's really what they've been able to do, is get us all on social media, all of us talking about their topics. You go to Twitter, and every single person that points out Joe Biden's faults is helping Joe Biden.
That's right.
You see, that's how propaganda works. You become a propagandist by engaging in their topics. Look how far they came with this lie about global warming. Do we impact the climate? Yes. But one volcano sneezes and we're going to freeze to death.
Right.
Okay? That's how tenuous we are on this beautiful globe that we don't seem to respect. You talk about all of these issues. How is it that all of these DAs elected by Soros don't prosecute all the criminals, but they'll come and nail you for not cutting your grass?
Right.
Right. You're the honest American trying to do the right thing, and your lawnmower's broke. You can't afford a new one. Now you're in court. It's right. Our job to hold these people accountable. We've got to find a way to act. Like I said before, organize. Let's get a list of issues that we see that aren't beneficial to the government's case against Brian Koberger. Let's all put it together, all sign it, and send it to his defense attorneys. We need to start finding ways to act as a group, non-violently, to get our voices heard and have an impact and change in the country. Because voting sure ain't doing it, right? They control the vote. They control the voting machines. They control the elections. We don't. We have to take on faith that they're doing the honest thing. And we all know John F. Kennedy himself only became president because of the Chicago mob. I mean, so it's not like we don't have information to say the votes are cheated. We know they are, but what are we doing to change it? And we're stuck on social media pointing it out and arguing about it.
This is our country, folks. I mean, we have to be the ones that stand up and say, hey, it's time to do things the right way, you know?
Yeah, and in this case with Mr. Koberger, I said this on that last time I was on. I really think that if there's 10 of us, 2 of us, 100 of us, if we got together and got on Discord or wherever and shared information, I'd put up money for a lawyer to set it up so that they could send it to the defense team. These are the areas of deficiency we find in the probable cause application. The lawyers may already know this. Right? Can we become a party to the proceeding? Like when they went after General Flynn, after they dismissed the case and that judge held the case and wanted to go after Flynn, a third party became a party to that proceeding. Or can we do that in any case? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But we have more power than we ever exercise. That's the tragedy here. As Americans, you have way more power in groups than you can even imagine. And yet we don't group up and do anything.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that, because I think they make us feel like we have no power. And I think that's why everybody feels the way they do, don't realize that we have the ability to do these things. And that's a fact, in my opinion. It really is. So I agree. Like, you know, that's a great point there too, Sarge, that could be done. I definitely agree. Are you still there, Annie?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, go ahead, hon. I'm sorry about that.
So am I.
No, it's all good. I was
Okay.
listening. I was just
Okay.
listening. I agree with Sarge. As far as like the case with Koberger, I feel like since they got his name, basically, since they started putting like little trickles of information about a suspect out, it's been like pure propaganda anyway, against him. I believe that's why his defense team was looking forward to a preliminary hearing, because they had planned to present expert testimony regarding the detrimental effects of the media, um, things like that. But when it comes to like his defense, I feel like there's a few things that I've noticed that I've been thinking about. And, one of those things is, so the house, right? Usually in most other cases, especially the defense team, is going to advocate that the crime scene be preserved until trial. And if need be, they will file an injunction to ensure that the crime scene, like, the actual where the crime occurred, is preserved, specifically in case a jury wants to visit, right? So one thing I noticed is that his defense team, they haven't done a single thing with regard to the house, you know? And initially I was under the impression, well, maybe it's because they have these, 3D scans and they can just use the virtual reality headsets to walk a juror through the crime scene. And the more I thought about it, I don't think that's why. I think that the reason they're not concerned about the house is because they know they don't need it. You know what I mean? I think there's a reason that there's a lot of things they don't seem too concerned about with regard to the other side, like even with the genealogical DNA. That was something that I think, I don't know if anybody else picked up on it, but I did a little bit of research on this. And, law enforcement usually goes to these genealogical companies for cold cases, specifically because they're allowed access to the databases. So like 9 times out of 10, law enforcement is going to one of these labs with like a piece of clothing or something like that they're looking to retrieve even like a speck of DNA off of. Okay. But the problem with it is the evidence is not in it. It's not admissible in court because you're getting that without a warrant. So I think what a lot of people don't really know is that these, so when you give your DNA to like 23andMe and places like that, their user agreement, most of them, you have an agreement with them. It's like a terms of service that they will not give over your DNA to law enforcement. No one will have access to your DNA without a warrant. Okay. Right. So this genealogical testing that was done from that little speck off the sheath and all of that, and then you go into, okay, now we got to go across the country to get the trash and we got to compare the two, blah blah blah. All of that was done with no warrant. There is no warrant for that issued at all.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's why when they initially put in their search warrant application in Washington, they specifically said, do not consider this, because I think they already knew anyway that it would not be admissible, right? So I also think that's maybe why the prosecution decided, oh, well, you don't need it because we're not going to use it. It's irrelevant. And I found that to be pretty arrogant of the prosecution to assume that they decide what evidence is relevant and what evidence isn't.
Of course.
So,
very arrogant.
because I look at it, if you go by the Constitution of the United States and you go by what law enforcement, the rules that they have to follow, every single accused person, okay, has the right to every single thing. Oh, sorry.
100%.
So every suspect, when you're accused of a crime, you are then, when you request counsel, you and your counsel are entitled to every single method that law enforcement used that led them to you. So
Mhm.
even if it's something that led them to you that maybe the prosecution team doesn't plan to use in court, that is irrelevant. What's relevant is that law enforcement claims this led them to their suspect, and therefore the defendant is entitled to it.
Right. Absolutely.
So
I agree. I do agree. As does
I
Tammy Lynn.
think,
She says, I completely agree with Annie. I've thought this the whole time. The genealogy, if used in this case, could set a precedent for how law enforcement can use DNA databases in active cases in the future. That's a very good point, Tammy Lynn.
You know,
Real quick to interrupt, I don't mean to. By the way, for those of you that don't know, the person on panel speaking at that point was Miss Potts, or Annie Potts, as we go. Lisa, the link is in the chat, hon. You're welcome, as always, to jump up here. It's in there. There's a couple of them in there, actually. Feel free to jump in at any time, my dear. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Annie. I do. And that's something about what we're going to look at here soon. This next thing I'm going to pull up is about in these people, this channel basically stated in layman's terms that the arrest of Brian Koberger was illegal, flat out, basically. And that's it basically was, guys. If you ask me, that's my opinion.
I've been screaming that for ever since I read the PCA.
Right. It was an illegal arrest, an unconstitutional arrest. I mean,
probable cause. The level of probable cause must be, and it's stated right in Idaho law, it must be significant, even if it's hearsay. So if 4 people say they saw me going and rob that bank, that's significant.
That's absolutely correct. And understand, you guys, all of us up here that are preaching about this whole thing about being unlawful, unconstitutional, illegal, whatever you want to call it, okay? Understand this. That does not mean that any one of the 4 of us sitting up here are saying that Brian Koberger's innocent. He didn't do this. Please let him go. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. No. We can all agree that has nothing to do with what we're saying. I don't want that 100%. To be misconstrued, okay?
Listen, we could be wrong on our conclusions or on our assumptions that this was unlawfully done. It may be lawful, but it needs to be explained. And when you look at their actual laws on their books and the rulings by their own Supreme Court, this lacks probable cause.
Yes.
If you take the DNA off that sheath, if you ignore the DNA on the sheath, you have no probable cause.
And I'll be honest, I said this to Jules this morning. I'm sorry to interrupt, Sarge, but it's a fact. As far as I'm concerned, the whole trace DNA thing it's garbage to me. It doesn't even exist in my mind because it's just that pathetic as far as I'm concerned. Okay, it really is.
It was originally referred to, so you folks know, transfer DNA is what they're talking about.
That's correct.
They've changed the name to touch DNA. Okay, and we all lose 500 million microscopic skin cells a day. You're shedding skin like Pigpen from Charlie Brown sheds dust, and you don't know it because it's microscopic.
That's right.
It could land on the shoe of it could land on your dog's nose, and he could transfer it to your neighbor's bush. It's incredible what you can do with that transfer DNA. And that's why it's so seldom used in prosecutions unless you find transfer DNA in multiple locations throughout the crime scene.
Right. And just like Peaches just said, this should scare the crap out of everybody to see how easy it is to have this done to you and to be very careful. Because look, guys, look, we're seeing it.
Yeah.
I want to say this too. I was at one time accused of being the father of a child. Okay. And what a lot of people don't know is that when they do that DNA test, it's a statistical basis. So here's what they do. So this girl was in my city. How many men are white Anglo-Saxon men from the European descent live in this area that she could have slept with? And they run statistics against how many markers. How many other men would have those markers? That's the irony of a DNA test for paternity, is there are other men that have those markers. As a matter of fact, throughout, in this particular woman went from here to Chicago to Los Angeles to Detroit and back to where I live, okay?
Right.
She had a potential pool of men that meet my basic description in the millions. And if they would have taken that into consideration, there'd have been no way you could have said those markers were mine. Now, in the end, it wasn't my kid. But I argued against DNA because I said DNA is not an accurate science. It's a statistical science.
Right.
When you're talking about paternity. It is not scientifically. Now, if you got 99.9, okay, that means all the markers, every single. I had like 4 or something out of the 13 they were looking for. I'm not even the kid's father, but 4 of my markers match that kid.
Right.
That's insanity. But
Scary.
because of TV shows and government infringing upon us, we all accept that DNA is unquestionable.
Right, because you got brown hair, white skin, blue eyes, and
yeah,
because we don't understand it. Most people don't understand it, therefore they don't argue it. You know what I mean? They don't understand the basis of the fact that it is all statistical. It's not a factual science, folks. At all. And then so they'll just go with it because they don't understand it. Not saying that anybody's stupid, but it is a science per se, and we don't all look into that on a daily basis. We don't all understand that, so we just let it be what it is because it's easier that way.
And when I fought that paternity test, I fought giving my DNA. I refused. And then finally the judge says, if you can't give me a good enough reason to say that we can't get your DNA, then we're just going to take it by force. And I said, I've got one reason and one reason only. He goes, what is that? I said, stomach acid prevents pregnancy. That's my reason. And the judge froze. He didn't know what to say. He goes, what does that mean? I said, Your Honor, she performed oral sex on me. Can't get pregnant from that. He started beating on his desk, told me he was going to hold me in contempt, and they dragged me out of there and they did a swab to get my DNA.
I love you, Sarge. I love you to death. I swear to God, I do. That's great. That is great. Never heard that in my life. That is amazing. I love it.
Right.
But it's a point. It's a fact, guys. Thank you so very much. I love that. Wow. And thank you, Coral Beauty. It says, seems like it's a vicious mess that was done purposely so that he ends up innocent and possibly the real MFers go free. Planned because they knew he'd get off with the mistakes made. Planned. I mean, you can look at it that way as well. You really can. There's so many different angles. I was telling Jules this morning when we had a conversation. I've looked at this at 40 different angles, and almost every one of them makes sense. And then there's 40 other angles where it makes no sense at all. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Common sense is what I do. And that's what I've been sticking with the whole time, folks. And it seems like there's quite a few of us that are in that same bus. Again, Lisa, if you want to come up here, dear, you can. If you're still in here, all you got to do is I think there's multiple links in there now. Let me know if you're having a problem with it or something. Jeff says, what are the stats that or chances to Brian's DNA would connect with trash 500 miles away?
Well,
Can I just jump in for a second?
Absolutely.
Please do. Please, that's why you're here. Please do.
So I think the reason that they're going to have a problem with it and why the prosecution agreed to not use the evidence and decided they're not going to use it is because if you remember correctly, we have 3 different versions of a probable cause affidavit.
Yes.
The one that was used in Washington, the judge was asked to not consider the genealogical DNA, but they used that same evidence in the arrest warrant for Pennsylvania.
Right.
So I think because it obviously Bill Thompson is a very smart person. I think once he realized, wait a minute, okay, so we have this. However, you used it for the arrest, which is why his defense is asking for it, because in their arrest affidavit, they claim that this is the evidence that led them to their suspect.
Right.
And the defendant does have a right to that. So I believe that's why they don't plan to use it. And I think that's also why he wanted the order of protection on it. I also think that's why they went to the grand jury, because he knew that if he filed the order of protection, it's likely going to be dismissed, right? The judge probably would deny that motion and they would have to turn over exactly how they obtained this, when you're going to have to turn over chain of custody for that. Everything that goes along with that specific piece of evidence, you're going to have to show proof of how you obtained it, how you tested it, the chain of custody. They don't want to do that.
Right.
They want that. They want that under seal because their excuse is, well, we don't plan to use it, so it's not relevant.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a huge problem for anybody. If anybody's having trouble understanding why chain of custody is so important, especially when you're being accused of a crime like this.
Right.
There isn't a single piece of evidence that should be improperly handled in any way. It needs to be
Right.
done by the book, because then so here's where I'm going with this. If he is the guy, if he did do it, and you have incompetent police officers who are not following normal standard protocols and chain of custody with the evidence that they are trying to use against a suspect, you have a person who did this crime, but who's going to get off on technicalities. Right? So I don't think anybody wants that either.
No, I can.
Only if his attorneys are astute enough to actually follow those angles of attack against the indictment. I mean, I believe that in Idaho, I read that you can actually appeal an indictment to the Supreme Court. And that's what I would recommend those attorneys do. They should have done that immediately once the indictment was issued. But I don't know if they're aware. Did he ever commit to innocent or guilty, or did he just ignore that demand? Does anybody know about that?
As of right now, the demand was put out, and there's been no response to it, from what I understand.
Yeah,
And Jules, real quick, she said, and they planned to not use it before he was even arrested. That's why I made a separate video about it, which she did. To me, to her, it shows that they knew from the beginning the issues this was going to cause. I can agree with that. Where did Annie go? Unless maybe she was done talking, but you can come back in if you want to. But yeah, I agree, Jules. I absolutely can agree with that.
I suspect if that's stricken from the jury's information, any DNA, I don't think you could. I don't know how you put a case on against the guy unless all the other information supports him being guilty. So you would have to have blood samples, hairs, all the other things that you would expect to see a murderer track away with him or track around with him or be in his possession, some kind of
right.
Like they let us run around thinking that they found IDs in Brian's home that were connected to the murders, and they weren't. Those IDs had nothing to do with the murders. So you got all of this media trying to convince everybody how guilty this guy is.
Every way they can. That's right.
What evidence have they leaked? I mean, they always leak evidence, right?
Nothing.
And in this case, they've leaked nothing that says to anybody that Brian Kohlberger was in that house and committed those. At the very least, he was in the right house.
In my opinion, I think they haven't leaked it because they don't have it, Sarge. That's my
opinion.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They go. It's like they don't have. Somebody would have snuck that out. I think the DA is keeping his tight to his chest, and he ran for the secret grand jury because you can indict a ham sandwich at a grand jury.
Exactly, and that's the thing, guys. If they don't have anything, okay, nothing. Which we've already talked about this. I don't know how many times, but if they don't have anything to throw it at, let me put it this way. Let me rephrase it. If they had anything other than the garbage that I'm calling the transfer DNA, as we'll call it from here on out, because I like that better, because that's what it's really called. If they have anything besides that, we would have saw it already, because they would do something like that to solidify their case, in my opinion. Well, they haven't shown us anything, guys, and they're not going to. Okay, in my opinion, they're not going to, because they don't have it, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying. Evie Marie, thank you so very much for that. We have another membership gifted. Yvette Lopez, welcome to the family. It's great to have you as another meatball in the house, folks. Welcome, welcome. But that's my opinion.
Thank you, Evie.
And I don't see that changing. Okay, because I still feel that there's not, even during the trial, I don't think there's going to be any kind of explosive evidence that they're going to go, okay, here it is, boom. Or we would have seen it, I think, because that solidifies their case. They wouldn't have ran for the grand jury. They wouldn't have ran for the secret indictment. They wouldn't have ran to hurry up and get him in custody. None of this would have been done in such the hurry that it was, but it was. And there's reasonings behind that in my mind and in my opinion. And I think it's because they don't have anything to support the fact that they believe that this guy did it. End of story, in my opinion. Good to see you, PPR. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Hey.
And that's my opinion. You guys don't have to go with that by any means whatsoever. That's just my opinion, like I said. As of the last filings on June 9th, the defense has asked for either extended time to provide alibi or alternative to actually providing one, from how I understand it. Right.
Yeah, she hits it right on the nails. I mean, she pays extraordinary attention to a lot of this stuff. And that's really the only way to find truth. I mean, You know, a lie will circle the globe 3, 4, 5 times before the truth even has time to put on its shoe.
That's a fact.
Right.
That is a fact.
It's you know, there's a reason there's libraries in colleges, because the truth isn't often simple. It's often very, very complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right? Yes. Absolutely. And that's what it is. Let me get, before I forget, was there anything else that you wanted to say real quick, Joel? Sarge, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, let me pull this up here. I want to show this to you guys real quick and get through a little bit of this. Again, guys, this came from, it's called the Chaos Sector Report, okay? I was introduced to this early this morning. It's kind of interesting, and it goes right along with what we've been saying. I just want you guys to hear some of this. That's where where I know Heather's going to want to put a link up. That's where the content came from, was called the Chaos Sector. Go check it out, folks, if you would. Now, not everything in this is something I agree with, but there is some stuff that I absolutely do, and I want you guys to see it based on truth. All right, here.
Hey, before you do that, if anybody goes into the T-Rev channel and notices he brings me up, I did send him an email asking him to remove that doxing he did. So if anybody's in there for any reason they hear something that brings that up, I'd appreciate it.
Right, absolutely. Yeah,
after sometime tonight, Dago, I need to talk to you. So
about what Brandy was talking about?
That and something Sarge brought up, and so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. When I'm done with this, and we can get together, no problem.
Yeah.
Am I in trouble?
No.
I know.
I think I know.
Let's just say something that happened to you has happened to other people in our chat and beyond. So
yeah, that's why I figured that's what it was.
Yeah.
Just be careful, guys, if you're going over there. That's all. I'm not telling you not to. Just be careful. That's all.
Yep.
All right. Let's check this out. Who?
Lisa.
Oh, did she come in?
Yeah.
Where's the link? I don't see her. Oh, she's down there at the bottom.
Yep.
That's why. Can you bring it up? Because I can't.
I did. Are you there, hon?
All right. Hold the line, guys, before I play this. Let's do this real quick, and then I'll play this. Can you hear us, Lisa?
Yes, I can.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thanking you.
How are you, by the way?
Hello, beautiful people.
For those of you that don't know, this is Crimes Under Investigation with Miss Lisa Bevins. She is a very important team. She's our team member, first of all, over in Australia that helps with our investigative processes. She's a family member to us, and a very, 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 very lovely close friend to us. So welcome. It's great to see you. We haven't seen you for a while. And how are you?
No, I'm just about finished with everything, and I'll be live in the next day or two. I'll actually get to do a live on my channel and get back to my channel.
Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome. Absolutely. It's so great to hear your voice.
Yeah.
And to those, I am sorry the other day about my post on Facebook. I do apologize to everybody.
That's
Oh,
okay.
you don't need to apologize for that.
Not at all. We just wanted to make sure you were okay. I noticed 4 or 5 of us responded. That's
I know I threw that up there without even thinking. I was just a little hurt by another person
that's quite all right.
But nonetheless,
quite all
I threw
right.
it up there without thinking about anybody else that was going to say it. And I sincerely apologize to everybody.
Oh.
Well, you knew we were going to respond, so.
Right.
I didn't even think when I did it.
That's okay. That's quite all right. It is so great to see and hear that you're doing okay, and I'm glad that you are safe and sound.
Yes, me and the car are fine.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. And you said you're going to be live here soon?
Yes. In
Awesome.
the next day or two, most definitely.
We will be there checking that out for sure. Guys, Miss Lisa does cover true crime just like we do. She covers things here and in Australia. Very interesting cases. If anybody is interested in checking out her stuff, I would definitely appreciate it, as does she. And Heather, if we can throw her link in there real quick, please, I would appreciate that so very much. If you guys would check it out, show a little bit of love, maybe subscribe, and check it out, guys. She's very good at what she does as well.
Yeah, we need to help her grow her channel. Now that
Absolutely.
she's back.
We all got to support each other, like I've said.
100%.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
As you can tell, we've grown a little bit since you've been gone.
I can see that. No, because I do. I believe it or not, I do watch you. I watch Jules too. I do
Awesome.
keep up. It's just that I dismantled where my computer was and everything else, and I have set up a nice little. I've changed it all. Just put it that way.
Well, as long as it works and you can get up here with us all and we can get up there with you, that's all that matters. Thank you so much, guys.
That's it.
It's
Thank
great.
you, Heather. Sweet lady.
So let me, if you don't mind, Lisa, I'm going to play into this just a little bit to show you guys what I'm talking about. And then we can catch up a little bit more if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. It is great to hear your voice once again.
Thank you.
Right. Let's see here. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Did I set it right? Yeah, I think I did. Let me know if there's a problem with the echo, guys.
Welcome to the chaos sector. While I tell you, things are getting a bit shaky in this case. To be honest, the foundation was already shaky. My colleagues would say that foundation has crumbled beneath the prosecution at this point. While they are hard at work, breaking down the current reports on the case, I've decided to retrace steps. I focus on the law more so, such as rights, violation of rights, abuse of power, unlawful activities, etc. The claim of Koberger breaking into a friend's home, with no arrest of this crime, prompted me to focus on his actual arrest. Now let me explain my theory of how it all came about. Rewinding all the way back to the beginning, before there was an actual suspect. Yes, let's take those steps back. If you recall, the authorities were looking for a suspect, who allegedly was spotted in surveillance, driving a white Hyundai Elantra. Thousands of tips flooded the department, until one vehicle was tracked. But how did this specific vehicle become the suspect? The vehicle was allegedly spotted in surveillance, right? But how did they track Koberger down, who was in another state? Let's review an article from USA Today. Quote, police have been seeking a Hyundai Elantra connected to the case, announcing earlier in December, they were sifting through 22,000 registrations for Elantras that met the criteria. On Friday, Fry confirmed they had found an Elantra but released few other details. Fry declined to say what information led officials to Koberger, and would not say if they had determined a motive. He said they had not recovered the murder weapon, unquote. Now, the first oddity is the 22,000 registrations that met the criteria to be decreased down to one Hyundai Elantra. This is literally impossible, because there is no way to single out one person, unless you interrogate all 22,000 owners, and make sure their stories pan out. Do you understand? The authorities didn't even attempt to find the suspect, they got a quote, lead, on the suspect. This Fry individual declined to say what information led officials to Koberger. Why is this? We know who gave them the lead, and it was Washington State University campus police. One officer spotted the vehicle on campus, and another spotted the vehicle in an apartment complex. Soon after, authorities had tracked him down at his parents' home, in Pennsylvania. Remember, there are still 21,999 Hyundai Elantras driving around, right? How do you single out one white Hyundai Elantra among 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras? They can't be different colors, because I'm pretty sure that amount would be different. There were literally 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras. From different year models, ranging from oldest to newest. And even if we focus on the year Koberger had, there's still a large enough number to still have a wide range of potential suspects. Regardless of a so-called lead, authorities violated Koberger's rights by arresting him and taking him into custody. They hadn't determined a motive, nor did they have a murder weapon, but they were sure that Koberger was the killer. A police chief, when asked about other potential suspects, claimed, quote, that the individual in custody had committed those horrible crimes, unquote. What type of public relations is this? Do you have DNA found on a knife sheath? No, you don't. If we put this into perspective, a citizen is arrested for committing horrible crimes, without any evidence the citizen did so. That is the definition of an unlawful arrest. How dare a police chief claim that, at this point, a citizen is guilty of murdering someone? And he didn't have to make that statement, even if he believes Koberger was the killer. It's about upholding integrity as officers of the law. He should have stated, at this point, with respect to our investigation, we will not be answering questions about the suspect in custody at this moment. This depicts the police department as professional, and also, it keeps a sense of integrity for the suspect, who may be an innocent man. Remember, innocent until proven guilty. You may say, his arrest came when DNA was discovered, right? Trust me, you will come back to this analysis, and understand why it was an unlawful arrest. How can you be sure Koberger, and his white Hyundai Elantra, was the vehicle spotted fleeing the crime scene, out of perhaps 10,000 white Hyundai Elantras? It's impossible, especially if you have no evidence, or information, to believe, or in their words, no, Koberger did it. Here is what they were supposed to do, when attempting to find the killer. Authorities spot a white Hyundai Elantra, Koberger's, which matches the description of the vehicle spotted in surveillance. They pull Koberger over, and proceed to investigate. Koberger asked, "Officer, is there something wrong?" The officer replies, "Sorry for the inconvenience, but your vehicle matches the description of a murder suspect, in Moscow, Idaho." Koberger, of course, would claim he is innocent, and doesn't know anything about it. But, the officer has to investigate, because he could be, key phrase, could be, the killer. The officer replies, "I understand, but I'm gonna need you to cut the vehicle off for a moment, and place your hands on the steering wheel." Koberger, distraught, obliges. The officer proceeds to ask for license and registration, so he can check his background. He returns to the vehicle, and asks Koberger to step out of the vehicle. Koberger, not sure of what's going on, asked, "What did I do? I haven't killed anyone." The officer replies, "We will get to the bottom of it, sir, just bringing you in for a few questions. If your story pans out, you'll be free to go." Koberger, a bit agitated, decides it's best to cooperate, and they head to the police station. This procedure was not Koberger being arrested, no. The officer simply detained Koberger, so he can ask him questions at the police station. And this is how their first encounter with Koberger was supposed to go. But of course, this is not how it went, as we know. In the scenario where Koberger is literally the killer, the authorities would pull him over. "Sir, I'm gonna need you to step out of the vehicle. Place your hands behind your back for me," and proceeds to handcuff Koberger. He is arrested, and taken into custody. Arrested, held without the possibility of bail, and faced murder charges. A blatant violation of Koberger's rights. The authorities obtained a search warrant, which led to Koberger's arrest, at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Let me say that again, a search warrant, which led to Koberger's arrest. Police seized a number of new items at the home, including medical-style gloves, a black sweatshirt, size 13 Nike sneakers, and they also took a buccal swab. They collected a few more items, as they proceeded to arrest him for the murders. Now here is the fishy part of the raid. Officers rummaged through garbage, obtaining DNA from trash. They had previously obtained DNA from a knife sheath, which was left in one of the victim's bedroom, right? They matched both DNA samples, and allegedly found a match. The fishy part here is why didn't they just take a sample of DNA from Koberger, to see if it directly matched the DNA found at the crime scene? Well, this is where the shady detective work comes in.
Great question.
My colleagues have analyzed this scenario, and I will second their conclusion. The reason they didn't sample any DNA from Koberger to match what was found at the home, is because they used the DNA of Koberger's father, and then, get this, placed that DNA strand onto a knife sheath that was placed there, and then report that there was DNA on a knife sheath found in one of the victim's bedrooms. Oh, you think this is impossible? He was arrested December 30th of last year, right? When did they discover the DNA at the crime scene? Anyone has the official date? Don't worry, we have the receipts. Before the authorities raided Koberger's parents' home, they were monitoring his activity, dating back to approximately December 10th through the 16th. Now at this point, before any DNA had been obtained at the crime scene, nor any vital information or evidence against their target, you have authorities rounded up, following Koberger. Yet, since at this time there is no proof, his white Hyundai Elantra was the vehicle spotted in surveillance, there are at least thousands of possible killers out there. Anyway, let's find out when the DNA was discovered at the crime scene, and when the DNA was obtained at his parents' home. Let's examine together the timeline. Quote, on December 27th, Pennsylvania agents recovered trash from the Koberger house in the Poconos, and it was matched to DNA at the crime scene, on December 28, the paperwork says. A single source of DNA was found on a knife sheath that was found in the bed next to one of the victims, police said. Unquote. Now, it's easy to suggest that authorities had already obtained the DNA prior, and went to his parents' home, and discovered the additional DNA. Yet, they wouldn't have to match his father's DNA, all they had to do was sample Kohberger's DNA, right? After all, he is the killer, right? You are trying to prove he was physically there, not his father, right? But, I literally searched for the actual date of when the DNA was found at the crime scene, and it doesn't give a specific date in the investigation. But, there are dates of each progression in the timeline of the investigation, such as November 13th, November 30th, December 16th, December 27th, December 28th, and the date of his arrest, December 30th. The reason there is no date of the DNA collected at the home, and just a report of it found, is because they obtained the DNA collected December 27th at his parents' home, and then the next day, December 28th, planted that DNA at the crime scene. As a result, he's guilty of murder. They were so sloppy though, because the report even claims that they matched the DNA at his parents' home on the 27th, as a match with the DNA at the crime scene on December 28th. Translation here. We collected DNA at his parents' home on the 27th, then ran back to the crime scene, planted the knife sheath, then dropped a sample of that DNA on the planted knife sheath on the 28th. Then raided his parents' home on the 30th, collected more so-called evidence, and arrested the alleged killer. Mission complete. Meanwhile, all you get from the mainstream media is Kohberger's DNA was found on a knife sheath in one of the victims' bedroom. This is a conspiracy. The conspirators expect the public to drool senselessly, brain dead as they soak in all the propaganda the mainstream media feeds them. This is deception on a historical level. I elaborate more here. The reason we know the DNA wasn't at the home, until it was planted there, is no report consists of the date it was discovered by authorities. In all articles, it would have the date the DNA was discovered at the home, no different than any other date provided by the authorities, and the mainstream media reports. There would be a photo taken of the evidence, it would be tagged, bagged, and stamped. In other words, that stamp would consist of a date, when it was tagged, bagged, and stamped. No date of the DNA found on a knife sheath, because it didn't exist until after DNA was, okay, you get the point. Literally incriminating yourself, by reporting the process was done in reverse. But this brain fart is due to not sampling Kohberger's DNA, to match it with the alleged DNA at the crime scene. You see how this all transpired? Even within the plot, they didn't follow forensic procedures anyway. No blood samples tested from the suspect, no saliva samples tested from the suspect, no hair samples taken from the suspect. When there is a homicide, and in this case, blood was everywhere in the home, and you have a suspect assumed to be the killer, you run DNA test on the individual, first, before collecting so-called DNA at their parents' home. The vehicle, that they were so sure was the killer's, never turned up any DNA evidence linking him to the murders. There was too much speculation, and claims, from the FBI, authorities, so-called private investigators, and the mainstream media. All that has been reported as facts, or alluded to being a fact, has never been presented or proven to the public. Dateline NBC claimed that Kohberger had broken into one of his female friends' home, right? They don't concern themselves with the stupidity of that claim, due to there not being any criminal charges. No, they just report it as fact, and expect the public to accept it as evidence. Not realizing, Kohberger would have been charged with several criminal offenses. This is why we do what we do, because sensationalism always captivates one's brain. From a legal standpoint, there will be tons of lawsuits if Kohberger is found not guilty. His reputation has been destroyed by every media outlet to date. So-called psychologist, criminal psychologist, detectives, all have painted this man out to be a monster, for the world to see. Without any shred of evidence to boot. Now, if we ask you at this point, what do you think about the DNA now? Let's review. Kohberger did not contact one of the victims, because there is no proof of it. Kohberger did not stalk any of those girls, because there is no proof of it. Kohberger was not seen in surveillance at that home months prior, because there is no proof of it. Kohberger was not seen in surveillance that night, because there is no proof of it. Kohberger was not seen in surveillance at a grocery store hours later, because there is no proof of it. And the main evidence for the prosecution? Simple, Kohberger's DNA wasn't at the scene of the crime, because the DNA found on a knife sheath wasn't reported as evidence until after they had collected DNA at his parents' home and planted DNA at the scene of the crime. You know, I'm done, it's over. This is exhausting. I have reached my breaking point, I can't go on. Somebody, please, salvage this episode. Another one bites the dust. This is what I'm talking about. I have stated this early on, the absurdity just kept growing and growing. The more we broke the case down, the more absurd things got. I don't know what the prosecution is thinking at this moment, but exposing all of the deception, they literally have no evidence against Kohberger. And I mean, no evidence, absolutely nothing. Brian Kohberger has been framed for murder, and this will come out in court. We had already exposed that the DNA was planted at the crime scene and the knife sheath. Come to think about it, that knife sheath was conveniently left on the bed, for evidence? Well, if you want to manufacture evidence, sure, just drop a knife sheath on the bed. Mark Furman deserves to be sentenced to 25 years.
Okay, that part doesn't pertain to the case. That's, that's their thing there. I'm not gonna do that part of it. Absolutely no change. So sorry guys. That is a very interesting video, guys. Okay. And it's a lot of stuff we've been talking about from the kickstart of this in a sense. But I never can we
That,
link, I think it was.
yeah, a link to that would be awesome. That video,
Heather
is
had it in here somewhere. Let me find it again.
that video is off the hook.
It is. It absolutely is. Somebody brought that to me this morning and I was like, damn, because it really like puts it into perspective, all of it.
It goes where the one piece that I got out of that I never really considered, because I am not all knowing, is the planting of the DNA.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the dates. That's why they don't want to give any of this stuff to Kohberger.
Thank you.
All right.
We talked about when we talked, I think it was Jules and I were in here one day talking about it was and I even asked that question. I said, when did they collect the DNA? Right? When did they arrest Kohberger? Right? Well, it's kind of amazing to me that we didn't get any of that until after the fact.
There it is.
It makes sense.
Well, who secures a crime scene? Who secures a crime scene with beat cops for 4 hours and doesn't let any other agency in there?
That's right.
Who waits 8 hours to call the police? That's what I've said. Look at those two young girls. God bless them. I hope there's no involvement at all, and I hope their lives are wonderful.
I agree.
But I would have arrested them too on the scene. Call me crazy, but I would say I'm sorry,
everybody.
Man. Just the facts.
They should have all been detained, swabbed. They should have been interrogated. Every single person, other than not even at that point, every single person that was there at that scene when law enforcement showed up should have been detained, swabbed, and interrogated. Period.
And the police should not. There should have only been 1, 2 at the most police that entered that property and then secured it.
That's right.
End of story.
Shut it down, locked it down, and although it was already tainted, we knew that, but still, at that point, it should have been locked down, shut down, and done.
Bring out the dogs and the tanks and whatever you need, but nobody goes in that house unless they're a crime scene investigator or a detective. End of story.
Right. And I feel
Bye,
like
sweet Cece. Take care,
Cece.
hon.
Thanks for being here, hon. And I feel, well, Eddie, that's a good point, sir. And we've all kind of thrown that around like a volleyball for a while, my friend.
Yeah.
Maybe the two roommates made some kind of a deal. That's a very big maybe, my friend. This whole case is so wrong. There's nothing about this that's right. But like we've been saying here, guys, none of this, and like this video says, it explains the way it should have been done. That's why I wanted you guys to see it. That's how it should have went down. But it was nothing like that. Nothing close to that. Okay? It's ridiculous.
I even concede that the way they put that together is a lot more effective than, it covers everything I've said, but
it does.
Their rendition is just beautiful.
I love it. I get it. I loved it. I said I have to show this today. I have to show this today because it's right on point, guys. I loved it. Who said that to me? Where did it go?
Well, I've always been a big arguer that the process of investigation is important. To arrest me, you really got to have something to nail me to the crime. Like I had said, I was arrested for a robbery. because my fingerprints were on the door hinges. That's probable cause.
Right.
But they couldn't indict me because I was the painter. So there was reasonable doubt as to how my fingerprints got in an unusual place like a door hinge. Well, I'm painting everything, so
Right.
So the case was never prosecuted because of that. But that's how the system's supposed to work. I'm not special. Well, special ed people call me sometimes, but other than that, yeah.
Get a clue. Yes, Jules, I have thought the same thing. They may have searched his apartment. Yeah, that's something we talked about this morning. I will definitely do that, Anna. I will definitely go check it.
And 51 terabytes of data. This I've been aching to say. I'm sorry to step on you, but 51 terabytes of data is all the video they collected and all of their investigations and all of that. Most of that is video in 4K. You're going to find out. You'd be amazed at how many terabytes today's modern video will suck up and put down on a drive. It's considerable.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I do want to believe that it has something to do with the camera next door. It has to, to do with. I mean, it's got to have something to do with that, in my opinion. But the biggest thing here, in my opinion, is the fact that he was not arrested constitutionally. That they did not go and do an interview with him, because I know they were looking at him, as we've seen proof of, that they were looking at him sooner than that everybody believes. It would have been very easy before he even got in his car to go back home to his parents' house to say, hey, guy, can you come down here, have an interview with us here? It won't take that long. Give us a little bit of info here. Check some things out. Again, I cannot see him not doing it, arguing it, or trying to get away from it at all. But they didn't. They did not. Instead, what they did was they rushed around. Okay? They rushed around like idiots, in my opinion. I'm sorry. They rushed around and they did all of these things to hurry up and get this guy in a jail cell. And here we sit now with absolutely no evidence shown that this man had anything to do with this. And it's utterly and disgustingly ridiculous and unconstitutional, in my opinion. And that's a big word. And it needs to be attached to it, folks. It really does. And that's my rant. And one of my other rants, I should say. Jules says, is it possible that they searched his apartment illegally and got DNA to place on the sheath and then chose his current location at the time to get the sample they matched that apartment search is off? Everything is possible, Jules. We've talked about that. Everything. If you think anything is not possible, forget about it. It's a fugazi. As I always say, guys, nothing comes off the damn table. Forget about it. This case will come down to bushy eyebrows. Sadly, I can agree with you, Vincent. I really can. Because at this point, this is Keystone Cops, guys. This is what this is. And I don't like to talk down about law enforcement at all, because we need law enforcement, folks. We do need law enforcement, okay? I know people say we don't need law enforcement. We can run this country. We can do this. No, guys, we need organized law enforcement. I'm sorry, but we do. And I always support them. I always have. This is disgusting. I'm sorry, but it is. It's not the way things go. That thing that they wrote so many years ago to help us to run this country is definitely not being looked at in this case by any means, in my opinion. And again, this is a rush situation. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's get him arrested. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's get him indicted. Hurry up, hurry up. Let's do this. It's all bullshit. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. And again, guys, you don't have to agree with me, and I don't expect you to. This channel is not based on the fact that whatever I say is God's word. Not at all. It's completely the opposite. I want you all to have your own separate opinions. If they're disagreeable with what I'm saying, then so be it. That's okay. That's what this is about. I'm just saying that's how I feel, and it seems there's a few of us that feel that way, and that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, that's that video. This video. Did you guys get the link for that, by the way?
I did. I put it up. Heather put it up, and Brandy put it up.
All right, guys and ladies, thank you for that. Again, you guys got to go watch it. On your own time, separately to yourself, and just absorb it, folks. Absorb it, because I did. and it means a whole lot. It really does. This video, the way it's set up, it's amazing. Again, for those of you that didn't get it, it's called the Chaos Sector Report. Very, very good stuff. And yes, no chains. Definitely Keystone Cops. That's what I've been calling this from the beginning. And here's the thing. In the very beginning, guys, don't get me wrong. I defended the police to an extent in this. And I said, you can be trained in anything, okay? Just like when you become a firefighter or anything in EMS, you're trained in it. Multiple times. When I was a firefighter, we would do training every single Monday, whether or not we had our schooling or not. You know, we already had all that, but we still went back every Monday and did training on different situations, right? Well, you can train on something 3 million times until you put your hands on that situation and you get involved in that situation. You really don't understand or learn that situation. And I've said that forever, but there's also things called a standard operating procedure, protocol, things that are set in place for a reason, that have been written down, written out, set standards that have to be followed, that have not, in this case, at all been followed. And we've all picked that apart piece by piece. Not that we're picking apart the law enforcement agency. We're picking apart the fact that protocols and standard operating procedures were not looked at. They were not followed. They were not. None of it, guys. None of it. And now we sit here with nothing but doubt in our minds about the one person that they swear to God is the suspect.
Yeah, that it's you know, it would be something if someone leaked, you know, like the other thing, they got the guy with the knife sheath, and then they find an Amazon purchase for a K-bar knife and sheath, and then they go to Pennsylvania and find it.
That's
right?
amazing, isn't it? That's amazing.
I mean, so where is it in the arrest warrant that the wounds inflicted on the victims appeared most likely to be made from a knife that would be carried in that sheath?
It's not.
That sheath could have been hers for all you. I mean,
and as me and Jules picked apart that one day on there, there's 3 different kinds of wounds.
Right. Yeah. There's a puncture. There's slashes. There's stab wounds. Right.
There's large gouge puncture marks, just like Kaylee's father said. I mean, no,
sorry,
guys.
can you say that again?
What's
3 different wounds.
There's 3 different kinds of wounds listed in the PCA. There are, Kaylee's father said that to him they looked like large puncture marks, gouges. There's one of the victims has what they called slash marks. Another one had what were the other ones? I think it was
sharp edge.
Sharp edge. What looked like a wound made by a sharp edge device, weapon per se. It never
blunt
claimed to be that type of knife.
Blunt force.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Yes.
I can't remember how it was worded. Blunt force something.
Ethan or Jules, there's it is. Thank you, Jules. It says edged, slashing, and stabs. And Steve stated the punctures and gouging. So literally there's like 4 different versions of wounds in this in between the 2. Okay. Not one of them says a mark that looks like it's made from a K-bar knife.
Wow. You know, look, and again, like you could take what the cops are telling us is absolute undeniable truth. It's possible, but really, if you lay it out on a piece of paper and then you lay out your theory about a drug cartel or something else, their theory is as strong as your theory. And as much as neither one of you can prove your point. There's no solid proof to say this kid was ever in that house. And there's the only way he could have committed the crime was to be in that house.
Right.
The pictures of the car, the video of the car, the pings that don't exist during that period of time, that does not, matter of fact, they defend the guy. In all fairness, the cell phone pings that end in Pullman and stay off the air for an hour and a half defend the guy.
Yes, they do.
The photo of a blurry vehicle defends the guy, especially if the vehicle photo came around the time that his phone was off.
Let me say one more big thing, you guys, real quick. Sorry, Sarge. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're sure.
You know that, but my mind, I got to say it or I'll forget it. Here's the thing. The one biggest thing that they have not said, guys, they have not proven, I should say. Let me clarify this. The biggest thing in the whole thing that they have not proven is that nobody else did this either. That has not been proven that somebody else may not have done this. Remember that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and again, we could theorize all day long. He was a driver. He didn't know what was going to happen. There's a million things you could say, but when you look at the evidence does the same thing. It leaves you these big windows to look out to see. The north side of the house shows you the lake. The south side of the house shows you your neighbor. There's all kinds of way to interpret this, and that's what shocked me with that judge. I'm stunned the judge even approved the PCA. I just can't wrap my head around that.
I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is the beginning of the tragedy. What judge accepts that weak evidence? And why didn't he order them instead of giving him a PCA? Why didn't they order him to get a direct sample of Mr. Kohlberg's DNA without arresting him?
Thank you. Why was that so hard? Because I can promise you guys, everything I own that Brian Kohlberger would not have denied DNA.
I don't think he would have either.
No, I don't reckon he would have either.
Right. We saw how he was when he was arrested. I want to get this over with. I can't wait to be exonerated. I want to let's waive the trial. Let's waive this to go back to Idaho. Let's get this going, guys. Let's move. So I guarantee you he'd have gave DNA, folks, but they didn't even ask him for it. They didn't even bother to take the time to sit down and talk to him.
Or covertly, how about if you covertly collect it? If you think this guy is a maniac that's capable of that, and then maybe you want to covertly collect it, and there were numerous pieces of information that would have allowed them to do that.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, because you know why I think they didn't do it? And it's what it makes it look like. This is exactly what it makes it look like. They didn't want to.
Right.
It makes it look like they didn't want to do this.
Like they were hiding something, or they're just that inept. I mean, are they that inept? How about a family that was shot in the head 6 times? 6 people in a family killed over some drug issue, not far from here, right? Now, to say, well, that was a gun. Well, yeah, but that was in a different remote location. It wasn't surrounded by college students coming and going, right? You're not going to go into a home like that. I mean, in all sense, why would you not go in there with a knife or a quiet weapon or a silent, something that you wouldn't draw attention while you're committing the crime?
That's right.
So I would, they say there's no connection to that. There's no connection to the poor Marine that was shot dead. Right? I call that suicide by police, what he did. They cleared all of that. They cleared the boyfriends. And they got a shitty picture of a car driving and cell phone pings. That's the guy.
Well, they cleared everybody.
And lied about the car.
I'm sorry, Lisa, say that again.
And they lied about the car.
In my opinion, I agree. And they cleared all these people immediately. They cleared all these people, but they wouldn't even take 24 hours to sit down and talk to the guy that they have in custody for it right now, who was still there when they were clearing all these other people, who maybe they didn't have him at that point. I get it, but I know they had him there shortly after that.
I could see them not bringing him in on the argument or the thought that this guy's got a PhD in criminology. He knows what we're doing. Okay. All right. I could go with that. Listen, that would be sensible as an investigative point. So
I can get that.
Why don't we go and collect his DNA directly through other means that are legal? Right. His trash, his door handles, his car door handles, his desk at school. There's a million ways to collect my DNA, and I'm sure that applies to all of us. And they didn't put in any investigative steps to do that.
Absolutely, not one bit of it. No, they didn't.
And the timing of the DNA and the knife sheath being brought forward, and then the timing of the collection of his father's is rather shocking.
Very shocking, and it always has been. And that's why I wanted this to be seen, because I've had issue with that from the beginning, and I've explained it. This explains it better. So I'm just saying, it's a mess, folks. It's a ridiculous mess.
But I think
the other thing that bugs me about this,
absolutely,
is how hard the media is going him.
Oh yeah,
that bugs me on everything.
Non-stop.
Listen,
they have trolled him by media like really severely.
He's been, since the moment, I said this the other day, the moment that he was arrested, he has been railroaded into the ground as being guilty by every media source that's talked about him.
Yep.
To almost. Okay. There's a few people that just said, okay, maybe this or maybe that. 90% of it, look at everything he's ever possibly been able to do. It's guilty. It's guilt. It's guilt. It's guilt. Even his family, they tried to pin his family against him. Okay.
I want to listen. I want to blow everybody's mind with this. I don't think I've said this in here before. Look.
Okay.
O.J. Simpson and Mark Furman. Now, in that clip, they were right. That man should have been incarcerated for 25 years for what he did. But let me tell you what I think. What I think here's what I think he prevented from happening, even more so. From my look into that case, I've come of the opinion that the murderer was O.J. Simpson's son. That's what I've concluded based on the information I've seen, and that's why the glove didn't fit. Okay, that O.J. didn't kill Nicole Brown Simpson and that other dude. His son did. Now, his son has a history of violent psychological problems. Okay?
Yeah.
And so when you look at the case and then you look at the people that you would then look at for the murder, I think O.J. was mistakenly accused and he accepted that role to protect his own kid. That's what I think.
I never looked at that nor even heard that. That's new to me.
Yeah, it's something that gets very rarely talked about online because you normally get shunned or called a conspiracy theorist or you're just an OJ lover. I've been called all kinds of names. But I think based on what happened in that case, okay, I believe that it's highly probable that OJ is completely innocent.
Yeah, I could see that.
No,
actually.
his son is 52 years old right now. I'm sorry, Mr. Damsel. He's 52. Do the math.
Mm.
Is there? Yeah, I mean,
1994.
Not the question.
014, 30 years ago, he'd have been 22 years old.
Right. Not the question what you're saying, but like what kind of a motive would you put out there with that, Sarge?
He had a lot of problems. So I don't know. It was never investigated enough for me to go that deep with it. But based on the different stuff that I was able to look at, we all saw, it fits the kid's MO and his personality and the issues. He's been involved with law enforcement before. There's been a lot of violence with him. He's got psychological issues.
Okay.
So, you know.
Yeah, I never looked into that side of it.
OJ never had any of those issues. OJ was the consummate gentleman, even while being arrested, charged, and even when he was thrown in jail and got out. He's always been the consummate gentleman. I mean, that guy grew up at a time, people remember, where blacks were frowned upon a lot in this country, and he broke that mold by being the juice, right?
Right.
But he always behaved himself, and always. He was just a really good guy. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but I'm saying that it was never looked at if it was potentially his son, and that's because of the media.
And that's not the son that him and Nicole made, guys. I don't
believe so.
No, he was not. He was way too old at that point to be that child, just so you guys know. Willow said that night that he went out that he was pissed off about something. His son was. So I don't know. I never looked into that. So I can't get into that with you guys.
No, but I'm using that as an example of how a theory can make as much sense regardless of how as long as you present it with sufficient information that connects to the story, right? And but when you look at the Kohberger thing, if you take the transfer DNA out, there is no story except these people are making up lies.
Right.
They're dreaming that this white car belongs to this kid. It's a pipe dream. You can't prove it, right?
Well, I mean, the car could belong to him, and so does 220,000 other cars belong to somebody else. And that's what they didn't test all of them. They didn't check all those people out. They just went right to him.
It could have been him in that car fleeing or driving fast, but they say fast. We don't know. There's no radar gun there. We don't know how fast he was going, right? Could have been him. We don't know. Doesn't mean he killed nobody.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's the issue here. It's not his car. It's not their pictures. It's not their cell phone pings. The issue that they never address is showing anybody that he clearly was in that house.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what the biggest point is, guys. That was a great point, Sarge, that you brought up with the OJ thing. Just so you guys know, it's, we're not going into that right now, but that is a great point. And that's what the blatant line here is that there is absolutely nothing that proves that Brian Kohberger did this. And unless, like I said, they're going to, I don't believe that when this trial starts, they're going to go, okay, here it is. This is how we knew he did it. And we're all going to go, oh shit, really? Okay. That's not going to happen, you guys. It's not going to happen. Okay. I'm sorry. And if it does, here I am again. I'll eat crow. I don't care. I was wrong. I'll say it right now. If that happens, then I'm wrong. I really, truly don't believe that we're going to see that, guys. I don't.
Right. And
the other thing that bugs me about this is that you think about it. If they didn't know him, and he did this, right?
Right.
He's gone up to that top floor first. Why didn't any of them scream? Because there was only one of him. So why he's having one, how come they're not screaming? How come the rest didn't hear them? How come nobody screamed?
And that's been something that was talked about, Lisa, a long time ago. If we go based on what they say, and he went to the top floor, did what he was doing, how did nobody else in the house hear that? Initially, that's why I said it was, excuse the language, is bullshit. I call bullshit on that one. I'm sorry, because they would have. And then in turn, somebody could have come running to help in that situation. Yep. One person, you're not going to hold off all them people. I'm sorry. Not one person's going to do that with one weapon.
No.
And I'm sorry, but this has to be stated. The young woman that froze in fear was awake during the time of the killings.
Absolutely.
Unquestionably. As a matter of fact, it appears as if Bethany was also awake during the time of the killings, based on the simple fact that they state the time of death is being determined based on her cell phone activity.
That's right. I believe the whole house was awake.
4 o'clock to 4:25, they're saying. Not based on body temperature, not based on coroner reports, based off her cell phone. So both of these young women were awake at the time of the slayings.
That's right. That is right. I think the whole house was wide awake, like I said. And Lana also brought something up in her live stream yesterday, guys, that made me think a little bit. But she's talking about, again, going on what we heard from Dylan, supposedly, that she saw and heard this, and that she may have heard somebody say, I think somebody's here, blah, blah, blah. Lana says, did she hear that inside the house, or did she hear that outside her window? Because she made a point stating that when Kaylee and Maddie came home, there's a dog in the house, folks. What happens when you leave for a while and you have an animal at home that needs to go outside?
You let it out.
You take that dog outside, right?
Yep.
Okay then. So
the other comment where it stated, it's okay, I'm here to help.
Right. Again.
She heard that. These people heard things, but not the killings themselves.
That's what I'm saying. And I proved to you guys that I don't believe that's possible. We did the virtual walk through the house. There's nothing that is any kind of a sound barrier in that house, guys. And if you drop something, you're going to hear it through the whole house. Okay. So you're going to tell me that if you guys hear that through the house, which I know you would, you're not going to hear yelling, banging, screaming, yelling, all that other stuff. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Even if you're asleep, you're going to hear it. The dogs bark.
Exactly. I can tell you right now, my house is better structurally built than what that house was.
Right.
And my daughter's room is right above me, and I can hear her get out of her bed and walk around her room.
Listen,
and it's carpeted up there. So they heard something.
If I had the skill to kill 4 people that quietly, you'd have a string of bodies across the globe as a result of me. Just imagine what this person did with 4 individuals silently and then got out of the scene of the crime, never to be caught. If you had that kind of skill, there'd be crimes like this all over the country. This wouldn't have been your first murder.
Yeah, that's pretty skilled for a first murder.
It sure as hell is. Thank you, Lisa. And then Jules says, yeah, you can hear crying and whimpers and little like quiet things, but you don't hear morbid screaming, which you would hear.
Right.
Exactly.
Again, miss me with that bullshit.
The first time we all tied our shoes, we couldn't get our shoe off when we were done. The knot was too tight.
Exactly.
Brian went in there with no murderer's background and killed these 4 young innocent people for whatever reason and made no noise. He got caught by a blurry photo, cell pings that don't exist, and maybe some genealogical DNA.
Oh, don't forget the biggest piece of garbage in this whole thing is that transfer DNA. That's the big one. That's garbage. I'm sorry.
That's why they call it touch DNA. They don't want you to tell you they transferred it to the knife sheath. Right.
It's all what it is. And here's the thing: there's so many of us sitting here going, no, wait a minute, no, and they're still continuing with the same narrative. Why? It's gonna have to come out eventually. It's gonna have to come out eventually. And when it does, what's gonna happen then, guys?
Oh, this will get buried. It'll come off the front page news. These people won't admit they did anything wrong in their conversations and all these shows that they've done. If this guy is doing the job, how about it? Here's what I think should happen. God, and listen, I think it should happen this way. The case should be dismissed with prejudice. Okay, And then they should be able to show you evidence that he actually did kill him. Okay? I think that should come out that way. And the reason I say that is maybe Americans will finally wake up and realize that they're being lied to, they're being taught what to think, when to think, how to think, and that in that process, these people cheat, lie, steal, and murder, okay, to force and then give you a narrative that doesn't even connect to the case. I think only then would there be sensational news stories that would continue to run, and maybe people would learn that being an American is a very unique thing. You have limits on your government to protect you. And if the government doesn't protect you, that means a mass murderer can go free. That would be a lesson I think America is long overdue to learn.
True.
Right.
And you guys know something too. Understand something. If we didn't exist right here, if this would have never been made, social media, any of this stuff like this, how many of cases do you think before social media appeared that went through like this that we don't know nothing about it? We see what we see on the news, and that was it. That was it.
Can I just respond to Miss Potts real quick?
You can, yes, you can do whatever you want, my friend.
I don't know that the DNA evidence was fabricated or planted by the police, but here's what I want to say to you. Why? She said, why would a lead detective fabricate coerce false witness statements for the PCA? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the PCA's information doesn't reach the right of probable cause. A blurry picture of a car that you cannot tie to Brian Kohlberger other than he owns one that's similar, and cell phone pings that show him in that area for 6 months before the murders, but not during the time of the killings, do not show Brian Kohlberger in that house as a killer. You see, that information is factually been provided to us by them, and that information is deficient in placing him in that home, killing those kids. That's why I have an issue with the PCA, not because I think they're lying in the PCA. I'm saying the PCA is insufficient evidence to arrest an American citizen. A blurry car photo and cell phone pings don't cut it in America, and it's not allowed to cut it. There's laws to protect you from that kind of action by the government. And believe it or not, the state prosecutor is your government. It's not just the governor. The police people are part of your government. They're a branch of the government's enforcement of the laws. And that's why you have a constitution, so that there's no malfeasance or mistakes made, because people get freed on mistakes. And that's the argument that we have with the PCA. Not that they lied and fabricated it. It's that it's insufficient to go grab this guy and charge him with these crimes.
Exactly. Yeah. And I should probably clarify that. Yeah, I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that I believe that this sheath was planted like they're saying. They're giving a just to clarify this, folks, I want to make sure that this is known. That video is giving a situational experience that may have happened that way. Not saying I believe that that's exactly how it happened, okay? All I'm saying is based on what we've seen and not seen, that's what it kind of looks like it was. I'm not saying that I truly believe that they planted that sheath and they did this and they did that. None of that. I'm just saying that that's how it makes everybody see this now at this point based on that. Welcome back, Annie. Thanks for jumping back up, hon.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
So, Sarge, I just wanted to clear up. Sarge, I 1000% agree. So I know a lot of people in the chat probably know my personality by now, but maybe you don't. But usually my questions are rhetorical.
No, that's okay. It was
So
Miss
I
Potts. I think I was responding to Miss Potts. Is that you in the chat?
That's me. That's me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So I'm actually just being like, I don't know how to describe it. So if I'm saying why would a lead detective do that? Yes, I'm just being facetious. I wasn't actually like directing it at you. I agree actually that I've been on the train that not only is the probable cause affidavit likely fabricated, / embellished, but evidence was planted, tampered with, whatever. So, yeah, I do in the chat. I like to ask questions just to kind of, it's my way of hopefully getting people to think about why someone would do that, right? So, like, I look at this as why would you have a lead detective who potentially is planting evidence? Why would you have a lead detective who is potentially coercing witness statements, right? Why do these things happen? Well, those things usually happen when you have someone who is corrupt. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that this gentleman is corrupt. I'm not saying he did these things. What I'm saying is it definitely appears that this is kind of what happened in this case.
I think with a lot of policemen that it isn't corruption as much as them believing. See, to me, you know, I don't want to be religious, but I think back in the day when they were told not to eat from the tree of knowledge, that what you're seeing happen around the globe today is exactly people believing in knowledge. And I think that was the message the creator, the God, whoever you worship or don't worship to. I think that's the lesson from the apple tree. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge. And the reason for that is belief is only meant for a religious or spiritual purpose, and a spiritual and religious purpose into which no evidence must be present for you to believe it. You believe that Jesus Christ walked this earth. You can't prove it with any fact, okay? Maybe you can, but so my point is, when you believe in information and knowledge, you are now stepping outside the bounds of how you interact with that. Like Dago does, and all of these other streamers that got 2 cents in their head. They question everything. They look things up to understand. Like when I say probable cause requires a significant amount of evidence, not some, but a significant. In Idaho, that's their law. It's not me making it up. And so I look for answers, right? I don't believe anything about this case. I'm just questioning their knowledge that they shared with us doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And it doesn't mean he didn't kill him. And in fact, they could show me tomorrow morning, someone could show me an article in the law book or something, and I could find out all my belief about the PCA is wrong. I didn't know something. You just taught me something, right? I'm open to that, completely open to that.
Same here.
And most cops make a decision on belief. They're not making a decision because they're corrupt. They believe this guy did it. And that's what they jump from there. And they're not able to take and be like a lot of us here are, where we're objective. Once you believe in something, all objectivity is gone. You cannot convince that person of anything. Like I said many times, talk to someone that believes in global warming and ask them to explain 198,000 glaciers. Glaciers is not a term that describes a snowbank, okay? Glacier describes hundreds of feet of thick ice that stretches for miles. There's 198,000 of them. Which one are we melting? And they can't answer you because they believe in that. Now, I believe we're hurting the planet. I believe that electric cars are great. I think that a lot of these solutions are good ideas. But the idea I'm going to save the earth if I don't do them is nonsense. I'll get on board with a lot of these people's ideas, whatever it is in the current news cycle, but I don't believe in the knowledge. I take the fact. Now, somebody may come back next year and say there's only 120,000 glaciers. I don't know. I don't count glaciers. But that's what I'm saying. You take facts and information and don't believe in them, evaluate them, come to a conclusion, and be open that your conclusion could be wrong. That's how you're supposed to deal with information, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets
I've basically been under the assumption from the beginning that everybody's lying in this case. So that's just kind of how I approached it for myself.
Right.
Because I initially thought that this case was like in the very beginning some kind of awful frat or like hazing thing gone wrong, you know. But then as certain things started to come out, you know, there were some things that were said by the family that kind of like perked my ear up, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay, you know. And now I'm like, okay, this is. So I know you guys don't want to say it. I'll say it. I don't give a shit. I'm not a YouTuber, so I have no problem saying that I believe that the reason that these things happen is because you have absolute corruption. Okay, so when you give certain people a certain level of power, you may abuse that power, right? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, and I hate to say it, but like, you know, this is not a knock on cops. This is not a knock on people in the military. I love, you know, I know many of them personally, so this is not a knock on them. But even those people who I have mentioned this case to, and I have mentioned the scenario in the home of how it is claimed that this crime occurred in such a short amount of time by someone with absolutely no training. And these people who are like ex-special forces, ex-Marines and Rangers and stuff, they laugh at me. They're like, there's no way that this person is not highly skilled and trained. Everybody I've talked to, yeah, this is like, it's to me, it reads, a lot of people agree, it reads like a shock and awe style campaign conducted on the house, which would be, you're going to have 2 teams, couple of dudes on each team, because you got multiple entrances you need to secure, things like that. So, I personally, I'm open to, so for me, are they going to be able to prove lots of DNA, say, on the driver's side of the vehicle, the brake pedal, the gas pedal, right? The door handle, the steering wheel. You're going to transfer biological evidence from the crime scene into the vehicle. Do they have his DNA on any of these victims who have defensive wounds and who fought back? I'm open to that. If they have that, he's done. He's done. And I would be the first person to say, fry his ass. The problem is, I don't think they have it.
By the way, I don't either. This picture here is was sent to me here just a moment ago, and it shows basement access to the home. As you can see, this is standing over here on that parking lot next to the house. Here's the back of the house. Through those weeds down there, there's a window that goes down into the basement area of the home. Whether it's a crawl space or a basement, whatever it is, there it is, folks. Never noticed it before. So thank you for you that sent that to me. I appreciate that so very much.
Interesting.
Where's that?
That is in the back of the house that this happened in. That is, that side parking lot that goes next door to the building there. This is standing in that parking lot, and that's looking down the bottom of the back of the house. I never saw that before. It's weird.
No, I haven't either.
So I just wanted to show you guys that. It was sent to me as I try to show you everything I had.
How'd they find that? Was that on Google Earth? How'd they find that?
I have no idea. I just said, I sent you a picture of basement access. I said, okay, there it is. That's all I know about it. Interesting, though. I'm going to have to go back and look at the house now, the pictures we have seen of the house, and see if you can see it. And 1 second here. I want to check something else too real quick before I go to that.
If the house has a basement, it's going to have access windows.
Yeah, absolutely. Either a basement or a
it may be a crawl space.
A crawl space.
The main home then you'd have no access to the main home if that was a crawl space.
That's yeah, pretty well. I mean, through the floor you could probably. Some have them as access panels to the floor. Not many. Nobody said. A couple of people said they didn't see this. Let me show you real quick again. This is in the driveway that runs next to the house, the left side of the house that you walk up. There's the apartments to the very left. This driveway runs in between the house and those apartments. Right here, standing back from behind the house, it's zoomed in. There's a window that goes down underneath the back of the house right here in that red square. That's what that is right there. Now I'm going to try to pull up the back of the house and see if we can see it that way. And then,
Is there like an original photo without the edited zoomed in one?
I don't know. That's the only one I got. That's why
Willow
I want to go
said
look.
It's to get to the plumbing.
Okay. Well, there very well could be an access panel from the floor inside somewhere or inside another room to get down to that too. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, trust me, if there's even if there is like any type of hidden crawl spaces or anything like that, the 3D scans of the home are going to pick it up.
Yeah, that's my thought too.
Sure.
1 second.
So I know that's something a lot of people, I think that's one of the things they did. They did do like a property survey too. Along with the 3D. They said they did multiple 3D scans of the property and the home.
Yeah, I did hear that as well. Let me see something. Hold on a minute. There's so many different variations of this. Hold on a second.
So, Can I ask you guys a question and maybe get your thoughts on it, see what you think?
Absolutely. At least me, you can.
Okay. So, what do you think? Because I was pondering this, right? Now, Brian is in Pennsylvania. He's one of 2 people recommended for a PhD program that he can attend anywhere in the country. Okay. East Coast, not trying to knock the West Coast, but the East Coast has some amazing, like he could have went to Virginia. He could have went and worked at any of the criminology schools that are much higher ranking with much better programs because they work with like Quantico and everything like that. What do you think would make him want to pick a school all the way across the country where it's like ranked, I think like 200?
I thought it was
a choice of anywhere.
I thought it was one of the I thought it was one of the best schools in the country for what he was looking into, is what I had been told. Now, how true that is, I don't know.
Could be economic, though. It could be very simple.
I never looked into it. Yeah, economic, good reasoning. Pricing. For how much the school costs and stuff like that could have been. I never looked into that. I wasn't.
They've also told us that he's gone. They got him in different states and surrounding states, different places, hours away. So he may have wanted to be in that part of the country. Maybe he felt like he was going to settle in California or something.
Right. Very possible.
I mean, there's a million reasons why he could end up in any particular school.
You know what it is? It is salsa mixed with red hot and chipotle spicy.
I don't think that's why he did it.
What do you suspect is the reason why?
You don't think it's because of the schooling itself, or?
No.
Okay. What is your thought process behind it?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I do know, but I don't know. It might make people lose their shit. So I don't think that he picked it because of economics or anything of the sort. It would actually cost him more money to go move across the country alone, where he doesn't really know anybody. I don't think that's why he went.
Okay, you don't think that it's because of the? Well, I mean, I don't know the rate. I was told, and it may be wrong, that it was one of the highest rated schools for what he wanted to do in the country. But if that's wrong, then that again there doesn't make sense.
I mean, I guess if you have your choice between going to work at WSU Criminology Lab and their criminology department, or you could just go a couple hours away from your parents' house in Pennsylvania right up to work with the school that trains with Quantico and like the BAU. I feel like if I had those two, if I had that opportunity and I'm being recommended for a fully, paid PhD program, I'm going to take the one that I get to work with the behavior analysis unit.
Gotcha.
Okay, so based on what I just Googled, University of Idaho is suggested as number 2. Best colleges for criminology and criminal justice.
He went to WSU.
In Idaho, it's number 2, but here's something that's more important than that. Acceptance rate, 81%. Receiving aid, 99%.
Yeah, but he didn't go to University of Idaho. He went to WSU.
Okay, I'm sorry. I looked up the wrong college. My bad.
I have something else I want to show you guys real fast, too, that I just got. Oh, I don't think I just got it, but I'm trying to clear up some things here. So
82 out of 1,142 schools is what that one ranks at. WSU.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's that little white Prius car we were seeing from Lana's stream yesterday, right? This car here, okay, it was just brought to my attention. I don't know how true this is. It was just brought to my attention that this car belongs to Enan Harsh.
Oh.
Now, I need to clarify and verify these things, obviously. I'm just showing you what was brought to my attention, and it was just sent to me. So it does kind of resemble the vehicle he was pulled over by that female officer in, but I don't know for a fact. So I'm not going to put it out there as in, that's a fact, folks. Something we need to look at, obviously, if we want to. So I'm going to check it and see what's going on. I do have info on this other house here, this 680 Steiner Avenue. And I don't know how that relates to this yet. I still have to look into that. And I do believe that it was an LLC. Not to interrupt anything. It is now another LLC. This is what it was, and that was the gentleman that used to be there, I believe. I don't know who he is at all. What's up? Jen Powell, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Kate, good to see you. Bernice, good to see you. He did have a white Prius. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, guys, some of these things match up, some of them don't. Enan's pullover. He was in a VW Volkswagen wagon. It was a couple years ago. Well, that's what that kind of looked like. Anyway, things that we need to look at, okay, or that we're looking at, I should say.
I think that car in the driveway was a Subaru, but I could be wrong. And
I'm not sure.
I've got to jump out of here. I love coming in here. I'll see you again sometime this week.
Oh, absolutely, Sarge. Thanks for everything you have and you give us on a regular basis. Much appreciated, sir. And we will talk to you so very soon.
Bill is in the mail.
All righty.
Bye, Sarge.
Right.
Bye, Sarge.
Bye.
It was called JKH Investments LLC at one point. That's the address now. At Conrad C. Smith, Eleanor W. Smith, where the original owners passed away. Have a lot more on this property. Blah blah blah. There we go. Thank you for that. That's just to add to what we talked about this morning, so you guys don't think I just left you hanging on that. And again, wait a minute. JKH Investments LLC is what that used to be called. I don't know what it is now, but there it is. And those are the names for it. So again, thank you for that. Yes, Willow, JKH Investments. All right, now I think I'm just checking some extra things here for you guys.
Well, I'm gonna hop off too. Thanks for letting me hop on. I thought it was so funny.
Absolutely, Annie,
I just thought it was so funny. You guys thought I was asking that question to you like seriously and not facetiously.
Oh no. I know what you I know how you are, and I just wanted to make sure that nobody else thought that is what it was. So no worries. I appreciate you explaining it, and you know you're always welcome here anytime.
Take care, guys.
You too. Thank you so very much once
Bye.
again. All right. Sarge and Annie, thank you for your intellect and your insight. So very much appreciated from both of you. Always.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'm just
both
looking
of you.
at a couple things. Absolutely. Where is this? Hold on a minute here. I gotta download that. Okay. Alyssa, thank you for what you've sent me. That car looked kind of black, Willow. I'll be honest with you. I can go back to that picture, but it looked black to me. I don't know. It could be the picture, the light. Who knows? Let's see here. What is this?
What they've been.
I don't know why I'm showing this at first, but I'll show it anyway. All right, here we go.
Able to observe in this place, they know what they've been able to observe in this place. They know.
Okay. I'm not sure yet, but okay, thank you. Hold on. Why are we looking at this? What do we got here, Alyssa? I do. I do Canadian Cat Lady. I do polls. We like polls in here. I can absolutely do that. No worries. I actually was going to do something like that, but I just wanted to get through some other stuff here. There's that. I also cannot Google their address. It took me to WHC. Oh, yeah. We've been through that. That's a fact. Thank you, Miss Heather. Again, guys, for those of you that did not know, Mama Bear does have her own channel. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that, brother. Excuse me. There's the link for Mama Bear's channel as well. She doesn't get to do much with it, but we can try.
No, I don't.
Definitely try to push that along if we can, just like Lisa has her channel as well. We got to support each other, guys. We got to keep each other floating and get things moving for each other, because if not, it just won't happen.
Everybody's saying that's where the police car was sitting.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's what I thought, but didn't want to say that for sure.
Thank you, Tommy.
Yes. Excuse me. There was something else in here that I wanted to see. Who was that? 1 second. Good Lord, email. Thank you for that email, by the way, Molly, with the car. I do appreciate that, dear. As always.
Oh, that's interesting, Vincent.
What did he say?
So when I Google who killed the Idaho 4, it takes me to Chief Fry.
I mean, I know why it does, but that is ridiculous.
Right?
That is quite interesting, to say the very least.
Willow, what?
All right.
Did you just realize I was here?
Who?
Willow.
Oh, yeah.
So she says, Mama Bear, like.
You're quiet.
Yeah, kind of tired today, so.
All right, guys. I think that's going to be it, because I got to go through what I have. Emails that were getting thrown at me left and right before I actually show you guys. I was giving you guys some stuff here that we had, but I think that is gonna I think that's gonna probably do it for today, because I do need to bring it down. I got a show to do tonight, and I got to save some energy. Unless you guys want me to be a zombie, I could try to do it with like a zombie. It's up to you guys. Tommy Jude. Cartels are moving into the country, which is different from my days, actually, even if it's scary. Tommy, yes. Amen to that one, Tommy. And again, thank you for your input, my friend.
Well, hun, I'm going to jump down anyway.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Well, it was absolutely wonderful to see you, hear you, and have you here again, Lisa. We have missed you so very much.
Yes, let us know when you go live. We'll try.
Yes.
I will try to be there. I am working part-time now, so
my best to be there. I will. And you're always welcome here, Lisa. You know, we love having you here and want to have you here as often as you can be here.
I know that. It feels like home here.
Yeah,
good.
I hope you
and
feel
I just
that.
want to thank you all for your love and support. Yeah, understanding.
Always. You are a very important part of this team and a very important part of this family. And that is what it is and always will be. So thank you for being that person, Miss Lisa. We love you to death.
Yes.
I love you all too. And I miss you all so much.
Absolutely. And we hopefully will be changing that up here so very soon.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
All right, dear. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Again, guys, it was I thought it was a very informative show. I was very pleased with it, guys. And I think everyone, Sarge, Annie, Lisa, Jules, Mama Bear, everybody's input, anybody else that had input that put into this, the emails, all of you guys, it takes a village, folks, and we are that village, I think. Because I think when we get together, I think we do wonderful things, folks. And I am so very pleased and happy with the scenario, as always. Absolutely, Jules. I absolutely agree with you on that one. I'm so glad that we heard from her today, too.
Yes. Yes.
Did you have anything to say, Mama Bear, before we did any kind of closing down or anything?
I don't think so.
Oh, that was what that was. Okay, yeah, the lines of the old road. I did see those yellow marks there. That's crazy. They were underneath. What that picture was showing you guys with the bare spot where the police car was parked, you can see the yellow lines that would run in the middle of the road. Like there was a road that used to run beside that house there. That's kind of crazy.
Okay.
That makes sense. Thank you. Gotcha. Thank you, Alyssa. Again, guys, anybody, for all you guys that were in here today, thank you so very much for the support. I appreciate that. Anybody that may have donated to support the channel, to keep the channel running and keep me coming out here every day to you guys, thank you so much for that as well. All your guys' input in intel, so all of that, I appreciate that more than anything. I'll be going through that once I get off here. I got some phone calls to handle too. And I will be here tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go look into the history, the life and death, and the crazy stuff of the West Virginia State Penitentiary, or the Moundsville Reformatory, as it was called. I spent the night there, guys, so I have a lot of details on it. Just something to talk about, a little different than what we normally do. So please, if you're interested, please check us out. It's not going to be boring. I can promise you that. Let me see. And yes, if you would, please check out our lovely Miss Heather's channel. Excuse me. Simply Heather X. Very interesting stuff, guys. Check it out there. Thank you, Heather, for that link.
Hi, Sarah D. Sorry, you came in.
Cindy Ann, good to see you. Sunshine, good to see you. Anybody that's Sarah D, I didn't see you guys. I'm sorry. Red, the lurker, always happy to see you. Tracy McDaniel, good to see you. All of you guys, thank you guys so very much for jumping in here. Other than that, folks, if you guys do not choose to join us tonight, that's quite all right. There will be some peeps there. I understand some of you guys just can't make it. Some of you guys just aren't into it, and that's perfectly understandable, folks. I absolutely get it. But for those of you that were here today with us today, I love you guys to death. I always tell you guys, it's a fact, folks. Don't forget to love yourselves, to love each other, because that's what we got. And I will see you guys so very soon. Have a great one.
Bye, guys. I'll see you tonight, and then we'll see from there. Love y'all.